Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, it is Sunday Night Baseball as brought to you by the RAWBall podcast. It's our first time doing Sunday night. We were looking at the schedule and we were thinking, you know what, this just might be an interesting matchup, potential NLCS preview. And tonight it is us, myself, and Matty, joined by our cleanup hitter, Dave. Unfortunately, Devin is working tonight, so it's the three of us holding things down. Gentlemen, how has your weekend been? As you can tell from my hashtag, I am not a happy camper with my team.
It has been a very, very busy week over here as I'm moving tomorrow.
Oh, congrats.
So, yeah, tomorrow's going to be very interesting. Here's hoping we can get a RAWBall episode up tomorrow for everybody. But, yeah, really busy day for us tomorrow for sure.
Good weekend so far. Baseball all weekend. Wrestling pay-per-view yesterday. No complaints.
Your team. You and Maddie's team both had good weekends. We looked pretty good last night, and then today, I was anticipating disaster because Kopech sucker was on the mound, but he pitched pretty damn good. It was our bats that came down with a case of shoosh. No runs on 6 hits. The Pirates beat us on 1 run from 2 hits. We are now 4-6, and I'm feeling very not good about my squad at this point, but that's neither there nor here. Tonight we got Padres and Braves. Braves are pretty banged up right now. They actually have several pitchers on the IL, Fried and Anderson, I believe. And then Darno took a shot to the head last night that would have put Mike Tyson on his ass. And
Kyle Wright is out for them, too.
Right, okay. And yet the Braves are still in first place in the National League East. But, their only competition there right now is the Mets, really, because you look at that bottom end of the National League East, and it's a dumpster fire. Brewers and
what are the Mets? 500, like the most expensive 500 team in history.
Well, Verlander and Scherzer are both hurt, if I remember correctly.
That's what happens when you see 2 pitchers with a combined age of 90.
Urinating Tree might want to take a picture of this. I know it's only April 9th, but the Pirates are only 1 game back of the Brewers in the NL Central. The Cardinals are dead last at 3-6. They took a clubbering today from the Brewers. Diamondbacks are leading the National League West. They put a whooping on the Dodgers today. So it's been a weird,
sneaky good team this year.
Really?
Yeah.
What gives you that inclination?
You got a good young core. I like that Corbin Carroll kid. Walker is severely underrated. I like the pickup they got with Gurriel. And they got a good tandem at catcher. Gabriel Moreno, they got from Toronto, who just blew the 10-8 lead. 10-10.
Are you shitting me? Did Romano...
No, I didn't like that.
God damn it. Romano, what the fuck? And in other news, the Tampa Bay Rays, who are undefeated at 9-0, put up 11 runs on the hapless Oakland Athletics. And that was pretty brutal.
Performance like this, Jordan Romano could pitch for the White Sox.
Well, they gave him a 3-run lead. Granted, he was facing the 1-2. He was coming up against 1, 2, 3 in the order, but still, it's like 3 earned runs. Damn it! No wonder my fantasy
close to what people think they are.
Well, it wasn't that. It's just Romano's been a pretty dependable closer.
Yeah, but their staff, it's not as shit hot as people make it out to be. Like Barrios is weird that he's pitching good, but he's getting lit up every time he does.
And of all those runs, Trout wasn't responsible for any of them. So it's a double fuck you back to me. But anywho,
Rendon came back.
Who?
Anthony Rendon, I believe he came back last night.
Rendon was one of those guys that was he was hot with Washington when they had that run to the World Series, and then LA got him, and of course he fell apart, which is what happens when you go to Los Angeles and you're not named Trout or Ohtani.
I think all Rendon was, he parlayed that one big year into one big contract.
Yeah, which, I mean, hey, applause on him. But we are tonight getting to watch quite possibly the best, at least on paper, batting lineup in the major leagues. And like I was saying in the pre-show, my God, does Buster Olney just not age?
What is the lineup for this evening? Let's see.
Jays and Angels are going to extras. Let me pull this up here. We got Lugo versus Dodd, so not a interesting thing there. So looks like lineup for Sandy. I just had it, and then it went away. It disappeared. There we are. So Bogarts, Machado, Soto, Cruz, Cronenworth, Kim, Nola, Grisham, and Azokar.
We got Acuna, Olsen, Riley, Albies, Murphy, Rosario, Ozuna, Arcia, and Hilliard for Atlanta.
Matty, I saw in the league you paid $24 for, what was it, Santander you picked up?
$24
for who?
For Anthony Santander.
You know, it's not a requirement to spend all that money right away, right?
I probably did spend that money on him, yes.
I only spent $5 on Chris Sale, and I'm already regretting about $4.90 of it.
I don't think I've spent any more than $3 on anybody that I picked up.
Well, Dave, to be fair, you didn't get anybody until like the 20-something round.
Oh, I mean in the waiver wires.
Ah.
So it looks like Kirk is up for the Jays, top of the 10th, and then we're getting going here with Atlanta and San Diego. I'm going to say, as much as I dislike the Braves, their new park is pretty nice. It doesn't have the nostalgia of Fulton County Stadium or Turner Field, but it's still a pretty nice park.
I love the old parks. They're just not the charm to them, and each were so unique.
Yeah.
Well, except for Olympic Stadium, that was just bad.
Yeah, well, the Expos were an interesting thing.
They were really popular up here. It's just where the stadium was. I guess it was almost impossible.
It was kind of the same situation with the Rays, where their stadium is. It's just it's a huge headache to get there.
Yeah, out in the middle of nowhere. Well, they did in the NHL. They did that with the Coyotes. It's like, let's put a hockey in the desert and then move it out to the middle of nowhere and expect people to show up. It's not going to happen.
So Bogarts grounds out, and there's a fly out. So, yeah, fly out from Machado. So Dodd sits down two of the big boys back to back. The Braves, I give them shit because I hate them, and I have many reasons to. They're my brother's favorite team. But I will say this for Atlanta, they are a very well-run organization for the most part. And, you know, they're not in the World Series conversation every year, but they're kind of like one of those teams like St. Louis. They have such a good farm system, such a good infrastructure that they may be down, but they're not down for long. They even when
They keep churning out what they need to churn out. Yeah.
Yes, which is commendable to them.
Soto's
up.
Some of those players to some of those long-term deals, they're going to be like that for the next decade.
Well, I mean, signing Albies and Acuna, I mean, that's no-brainers. Those guys are solid players.
Albies, they got hit for pennies on the dollar.
Oh yeah. I was a little surprised they didn't keep Swanson after the season he had, but at the same time, what was Dansby Swanson before last season other than just meh?
He was a middle of the pack shortstop.
Yeah.
Wasn't bad.
There's a big fell off there by Soto, batting 182 to start the year. Juan Soto is a generational player. And he's been traditionally a slow starter, but that's a single.
083. Good Lord.
Yeah, Soto is a slow starter, but I mean, there he just got on. I mean, granted, that was a goose of a single, but let's see this replay here. Yeah, he didn't even look that confident when he got a hold of it.
You look like Vladdy Guerrero Sr. swinging at that one. That was up there at his eye.
Yeah, the first baseman just couldn't make a play on it, but what's that old saying, Dave? Hit them where they ain't.
That's right.
And now
Cruz.
Funny story about Nelson Cruz. I was there at the old ballpark in Arlington the weekend he got called up in 2006. And I watched him in his second professional game and watched him hit his first career home run. That was 2006. This is now 2023. I'm 36 years old. This motherfucker's still playing.
Still going.
And still hitting dingers.
So, assuming Nelson at some point retires.
Well,
you had a vote. Is he getting in the Hall?
I'm going to have to look at his career numbers. I know they're pretty good, but I'm going to have to take a look here. Jays won.
How does that sit with you, Dave?
The Jays? I'm completely indifferent. I don't have the hatred that Captain has for the Braves here, or Kenny Omega.
Well, I mean, when I say hatred for the Braves, I mean there's a difference between teams that I hate and teams that I just absolutely despise, disrespect, hope all 26 of them catch gonorrhea and die. There's a difference there.
Nelson Cruz, 19 years, 460 home runs, so he's short of the 500.
Which, if he can, I mean, if he plays, if he gets 20 a year for the next 2 years, he could get there. Career batting average 250. Wait, no, that's. Let's see. I was looking at the wrong column here. So career 274 hitter. Okay. That makes a little bit more. 859 OPS, 460 home runs, which he could still do. 1,300 RBIs. Would I put Nelly in the Hall of Fame? Man, that's going to be a toss-up for me. If he gets to 500 home runs, then I would probably say slide him in because his other numbers are not really that. I mean, they're good. I mean, he's had longevity, but his numbers aren't just eyeball standout. But I would say if he gets to 500 home runs, put him in. But at the moment, I'm keeping my thumb in the middle, but slightly towards the down. And it's nothing against Cruz. It's just when I'm looking at, does this guy belong in the Hall of Fame? I'm looking at, career stats and or rings.
If you're on Baseball Reference, you scroll down the bottom, Hall of Fame statistics. It'll give you kind of a benchmark of where he is and where the average Hall of Fame is. He's fallen
what's
below.
Which set of
the threshold.
statistics?
It's down towards the bottom of the page on the left. It's Hall of Fame statistics. Like the Hall of Fame monitor.
His D WAR. You mean?
No.
Advanced batting.
No, keep going.
Okay. Postseason batting, standard fielding.
Keep going.
Appearance.
Just sink to the very bottom of the page, like to the depths of Raw last Sunday.
Okay. All right. I'm down there. Hall of Fame statistics.
There we are. So he's a bit off.
Yeah.
The average guy is getting in. So he wouldn't.
His defensive WAR. I mean, WAR is one of those stats I really look at too when looking at Hall of Famers. Wait, no, it's in Los Angeles. So the Jays are up 12-10, and Vladdy's up
12-10. Pitching below.
Yeah.
I finally, guys, I'm here. I'm here with you guys.
You're there?
I'm finally here. I got a pitcher, I got a batter on the screen.
Whoa.
I got a strikeout.
Lugo just walked. I think that's Acuna.
Oh, so you guys are way ahead of me because it was just a strike.
So yeah, Acuna's on first.
I'm currently 2-1 Acuna.
I got Olsen up the bat.
Yeah.
Neat.
Mind you, I'm on the Canadian time zone, so I may be in like the 5th inning or something. Who the fuck knows?
Well, I'm on Sling TV. I'm watching Olsen. He's about to take his third pitch.
And he has walked Acuna.
So you're about 3 pitches behind us. Olsen's batting .361 to start the year out. I guess you're right, Dave. That no more shift is helping him out. Too bad it couldn't have happened last year when I had his ass.
Well, I was kind of glad when you mentioned that in our draft. Like, okay, so I can eliminate you as a bidder. That's good.
Well, one of the worst trades I've ever made in my life, I made last year after the draft was over. I traded Kyle Tucker for Matt Olson.
Yeah, I wouldn't have done that. Just doing the stolen base get out of Tucker. Like, they were too hard to come by back then.
Oh, trust me, I learned my lesson. I finished, I think, out of 8 teams last year, I think I finished 6th. So, yeah, last year was not a pretty year for me. Starting off a lot better this year. Oh. So.
Matty O on first.
Was that a double? Was that a double play or was Acuna safe there? Okay, so.
They got him at second. But.
All right, so Acuna. Wait, no, Acuna is out. Olsen's on.
Yeah.
All right.
And this year, Austin Riley is one of the
hell of a player,
underrated third baseman in the league. Underrated players.
Yeah, Riley is a hell of a player. I actually used to work with. It's either his brother or cousin. Something. The last job I had. So that was a pretty cool thing. One of the few parts of that job I liked. But yeah, Austin Riley is a phenomenal player, and again, proof that the Braves organization they know how to find talent. Matty, did you put any money on this game tonight?
I have not. So therefore I don't have a dog in this fight, but I am at least enjoying the game.
And I will say, after draft day, I don't think I've ever seen a human being down a chili dog as fast as Matty Laws can. That was like Joey Chestnut level dog downing.
All right, so I got another stream up on my phone. What's the count on y'all's screen?
2-2 to Riley. Looks
Holy
like it's
shit.
Lugo's.
Hey guys, I think I might be on par with you finally.
Speaking of on par, who won the Masters this weekend? I didn't get to watch any of it.
Still going, but John Ram is the favorite to win.
Okay. I know my brother's a big golf fan, so he's been glued to that this weekend, so I haven't really bothered him.
Yeah,
It's like if it's the Masters, the U.S. Open, the British Open, the PGA Championship, he is not getting off his ass for 4 days.
I see we're both on the water today, Cap.
Well, I drank quite a bit Friday night. I had like 6 beers last night, not too much. And then I was just sitting around, watching baseball this afternoon. I had a couple of beers and I started to get a little bit of a headache. So I was like, no, I'm not going to drink tonight. I'm just going to take some ibuprofen and water it.
Well, since I got this on my phone, this allows me a little bit of time to hop on the show as well.
Oh, Riley. Oh, oh man.
Nice little
missed
blooper.
An easy grounder, Machado.
That was such a nice little blooper by Riley, though.
That's getting on however you got to get on.
That's ready to throw it before you have it.
Yep.
Cardinal mistake. Pardon the pun.
It just goes to show you that as easy as a lot of these guys make the game look sometimes, it is still insanely hard. Like baseball is one of the hardest sports on the planet to play. I mean,
It is.
we look at throws from third to first all the time and think, oh well, easy out. You ever tried to throw a baseball from third base to first? It's not easy, and you're trying to hit a space that's about this, roughly, the pocket of a glove. You're looking at something about like this. That's not easy. Albies is up, 0-1 count. Men on first and second with only one out.
Well, even being able to hit it to begin with.
Yeah. The hardest thing to do in sports is hit a baseball.
Yeah, that's coming at you, 95 miles an hour.
If you're lucky these days.
But you're trying
not to mention the insane breaking shit that guys have nowadays with the sliders and cutters and curveballs. And he strikes Ozzy out. So 2 on, 2 out. And coming up for the Braves. What is that? A changeup? Changeup out? No. It was a curve? Okay.
Curve that he just threw, yeah.
Okay. Well, the grip he had on it, I thought he was throwing one of those Maddox-like changeups. I couldn't quite tell where his fingers were. So Murphy, is that who's up? And there's a blink, and that's the end of the inning.
That's it.
Nothing. Cronenworth, see 5, 6, and 7. Cronenworth, Kim, and Nola up for the Padres. Dodd coming back to the mound.
And the stats they put are a lot different than when I first started watching.
So, predictions, guys, while we're on a commercial break here. What are we going to see Raw tomorrow night? Matty, you're muted.
You're going to see the beginning of the Codyverse 2. Going to see probably a 5 or 6 minute women's tag match.
If that.
You'll see the Bloodline open the show, probably close the show, and then a bunch of filler in between. That'll be my prediction.
I mean, at this point, all I'm interested in as far as tomorrow night is to just see what the hell happens with Cody. I don't know how they're going to fix him.
Here's how I describe Cody.
But they'll have a better chance at it. They'll have a better chance at it if Vince keeps his fucking nose out of it. Never thought I'd say that between him and Hunter, but Yeah. Anyway, go ahead, Dave.
When Cody was in AEW, he was an AEW style wrestler with a WWE style gimmick. Now
Yes,
he's
as you
with
said in your tweet.
with an AEW style in the ring with a WWE character turned up. That's why he's over there, because he's more over the top and his wrestling style stands out because it's not the norm.
Yeah.
That's why he got turned on in AEW, because they sniffed it out, I think. It's like, you're a WWE character. What are you doing here?
I'm trying to get over. Maybe you other sons of bitches should follow my lead. Because, I mean, hell, they've had 3 years and they still, Powerhouse Hobbs, as Cornette likes to say, is in the witness protection program.
He was on Rampage Friday.
Yeah, and Rampage just has so many eyeballs on it.
But he still needed a little bit of work before he got to that belt. So
see, they screwed the pooch with Hobbs. They screwed the pooch with Wardlow. Kenny and the Cucamonga kids are still running wild. Jericho still has his thumb up Tony's ass.
Yeah,
if it weren't for
Jericho's
MJF,
getting ready to have a match this Wednesday. I forget against who.
Who, Jericho?
Keith Lee, isn't it?
Yeah, Keith Lee is going to kill him.
if it weren't for MJF, Darby Allin, Hobbs, Wardlow, Guevara to an extent, and FTR, I wouldn't give two shits about AEW at this point.
I still can't stand Guevara, bro.
Well, I see, that's why I like him, because he's such a good heel. And
that's
really
not why I hate him.
Well, yeah, he's a complete douchebag who does nothing but stir up trouble. But I still see great potential in him because I like his matches. I like his character. I like his gimmick. And with that woman who accompanies him around, I guess that's his wife or whatever, but Ty Conti.
She is, yeah, it's his wife now.
Yeah.
Sammy, I don't see Sammy as a world title holder.
No, me either.
Yeah.
But he still could be a phenomenal, like, I could see him being sort of like a Miz character.
Yeah.
Just a good middle of the card, solid heel. Yeah.
Card titles, throwing some tag titles. That'll be his.
Yeah. Which that's fine. I mean, just
that's a great career.
Everybody can't be top of the card. You have to have a balanced card. That, like, Arn Anderson was never a main eventer. He was a solid middle upper tier of the card worker, and he did it for 20 plus years.
Yeah, you could throw the TV title on Arn and fine.
Yeah. And he would turn in great matches every night.
Yeah, perfect.
I also like what they're doing with
Sammy Guevara. By the way, I'm not comparing you to Arn Anderson. I don't think Davey is either. That would be sacrilege.
Oh yeah.
So San Diego gets the first run.
I do like what they're doing with the TV title, though. 15-minute intervals, like, for the matches.
Old school.
Yeah.
Well, now you remember for WCW, if the TV title was on TV, it was 10 minutes, and then pay-per-view was 15, because that was how we got a lot of those Booker T, Chris Benoit Broadways, and a lot of Broadways with the TV title anyway.
Yeah, they had a best of 7 thing, didn't they?
They actually wound up doing a best of 8, because I think the 7th one wound up being like a double count out or a Broadway or something. They wound up doing 8 because they went in 3-3, and then something happened with the finish in the 7th, and then they did an 8th.
Yeah, they did. Yeah. But that was good. I really liked that.
Oh yeah. Booker T and Chris Benoit, fuck, sign me up.
So who's pitching for the Braves tonight?
Dodd. He looks a little bit like that buddy of mine we met in San Antonio, Matty.
He kind of does.
Casey.
He does look like Casey, just with more hair.
Well, Casey used to have, like, hair longer than mine, but, fatherhood and,
Fatherhood don't mean you got to cut the hair.
Well, either you cut it or it falls out from stress. my brother, his is falling out from stress and just genetics. Oh, I thought he might have got a piece of that one, but high foul tip.
What was he doing in the minors now? Let's see. He's only had one startup here.
Yeah.
Shit, we should have a couple nicknames for Dave. We should start calling him Oracle because he looks up absolutely everything.
The Oracle of Ontario, but he doesn't live in Ontario, so we'll have to think of what part of Canada. What you said was one of the islands, wasn't it? Off of Nova Scotia.
Nova Scotia, Cape Breton Island. You really pinned me down.
Cape Breton.
Yeah.
Let's see. The
Cape Breton computer.
The Count of Cape Breton Island.
I'll just
So
do
one
a,
out, one on.
I'll just do a John Morrison thing. Like for every show, I'll just change the last name.
Davey forever.
John Morrison's had like 35 different last names in his
The fact
career.
that he finally beat Ed Leslie is insane.
Is this now, Matty? Did you draft Kim
Which
Hung
one?
Song, the
He
one
did,
that's on
yeah.
second base?
I
Hung
believe
Kim?
so. I believe so.
Anytime I see, I saw you dropped. You dropped one of your Asian Connection players
I dropped
dropped
Suzuki.
$24 on Anthony Santander, which
I don't
I think you're
understand
gonna.
how it works still, but I'm getting the hang of it.
You can get by spending a lot less. I mean, if you want to blow your budget, if you want to blow your load by the All-Star break, hey, fine with me. But I think you could have gotten Santander for a lot less.
I can say I didn't understand it quite at first. I will do better as we go.
You're doing better so far. I mean, last year you finished dead last. I think you're in fifth right now. I'm tied for Champagne's in first. I'm tied for second with Justin. Then the Cleaners hitting cleanup, surprisingly. Matty's fifth. Dev is sixth.
I'm just glad me and Devin are as close as we are.
Well, I mean, you're brothers. I mean, it's just natural. You're just going to wind up tag teaming everything like that. Although it would be pretty cool if we came to down to say the last week of the season and it was Matty and Dev in a race for first place. That would
be hilarious.
That would be fun. Just to watch you two bicker and bitch with each other.
I know it doesn't matter for real baseball, but I just hit a dinger with Tristan Casas.
Oh, is that one going to go out? No. Warning track, but he's got it. Kim's going to tag up, so 2 out, runner on third.
Oh, 31 pitches in the second inning.
This Padres lineup, man, like I said at the start of the show, on paper, it's been a while since I've seen a lineup this deadly. I mean, yeah, their first 4 bats are stout, but I mean, even the guys they have in the 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 hole aren't anything to sneeze at.
Cronenworth is severely overlooked. He doesn't do anything great. He does
Exactly.
really well.
And that's the inning.
Yep. So
Lugo gets rid of another one. Lugo for Cy Young.
unless you're a New York Mets fan, those words have never escaped your mouth.
Well, one of us may or may not have Seth Lugo on their team. I won't say.
Again, I think disappointment is in your future. So another commercial break. Matty, we didn't get to hear your predictions for Raw tomorrow night. What are you thinking we're going to see?
I'm just hoping for at least an hour of wrestling, like actual in-ring wrestling.
The bar is so low.
I'm just hoping for some wrestling on a 3-hour wrestling show.
Can you please put wrestling on your wrestling show? Fine fans. Actually, most of the fans don't care.
Well, I mean, also, is Trips running the show tomorrow night, or is Vince running the show tomorrow? I mean,
and when is a few short weeks? Like what classifies as a few short weeks?
Well, it depends on how many times they move the goalposts for this.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean,
in the bank. Well,
I would think maybe the night after Backlash. Either the Raw before or the Raw after Backlash is when they'll do the draft.
Cody's staying on Raw, right?
So who knows?
Hell, Vince may send him to NXT because his last name is Rhodes.
There's some people still in denial that Vince is back at all.
It's
Trust me,
so odd, dude.
Vince is back. If you've watched WWE the last year and then you saw Night 2 of Mania and Raw, Vince is back.
That's why he sold to the company he sold to, because they would allow him to, in fact, be back. That was the whole. That was the whole thing.
Did you see the star-studded picture that came from the UFC show last night?
Oh yeah,
him and Dana and
Trump and Kid
Dana
Rock
and Donald and Kid Rock and Mike Tyson.
Oh yeah, what a picture! What a picture!
You know, if I was invited to a party with those guys, I would decline.
But I would not RSVP to that party.
It's like I would not hang with Kid Rock, Donnie, Vince, and I'm not even a big Dana White fan. I mean, there's like Tyson might be good for a laugh or two, but I'm not hanging with that crew.
If I walked into that room and seen that crew sitting in those chairs, I would have been like Abe Simpson when he walked in. God.
Is your name Bart? Mm-hmm. Does your father know you're working here? It was his idea. In that case, I'll have a whiskey sour. I want it's on YouTube. Well, there's a couple on YouTube, but like the best of Abe Simpson. And I've always told anyone I've dated, like, this is what I'm going to be in about 20, 30 years if you stick.
And the sad thing is, at minimum, half of that room is in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Well, considering Trump was indicted on 34 different felony counts last week,
I guess 40. Yeah, I don't know.
I was about to say, Matty, maybe we should get a pool going on just how many of those felony charges he winds up being convicted of. Because even as corrupt administrations as Ulysses S. Grant had, Richard Nixon, when they left office, well, Nixon got pardoned by Ford, which is a whole other thing.
Disgusting curveball.
Grant himself wasn't corrupt. He just was he trusted a lot of the wrong people, and his administration was filled with a bunch of snakes. But he himself was a pretty straight dude. But the idea of a former U.S. president now under indictment, criminal indictment for 34 felony charges, I never thought I'd live to see that. It's comedy hour. I mean, I was saying whenever Trump was running in that Republican field, and then the administration Trump put, I was like, Monty Python on their best day could not put together a cast of characters like this. Marcel Ozuna, what are your thoughts on him, Dave? I've never quite known what to make of Marcel.
I call him that because no uniform whatsoever a thought. If so, that would be it.
He's just there, But he's been in the league now. It feels like forever, but he's just always on a team. And Lugo walks him.
Like, that's a guy you pitch to.
Next week, Texas at Houston. I'm guessing we won't be covering that one because, I don't know. I don't know. We'll see what the pitching matchup looks like.
If I got Wi-Fi at the new place this coming week, that would be very, very nice.
Sunday.
That way we
got Wi-Fi.
Much of RAWBall. Because otherwise, that RAWBall when we come back might go about 3-4 hours long.
And yet he somehow, for his career, has an OPS plus of 112.
Safe at first. Ozuna has a plus OPS for his career. Not that I'm against, fashion or players trying to stand out, but I would be worried about playing baseball with those heavy chains around my neck. So I'd be afraid with one of those would bounce up and knock out a tooth.
Did you ever wear those? Because whenever I was playing baseball in like middle and high school, that's whenever those thick braid, like the color braids.
Yeah.
Those things were heavy as shit.
Yeah.
Did you ever wear them?
Oh, or at least the coaches I had were very anti anything. Like they wouldn't let you wear shit except the uniform. So, and again, I mean, what's that?
Oh, you know what's not a good idea to wear when you're playing baseball? A hoop earring.
Yeah.
I had that tore out once. And that like hurt a lot. Like when Mox got his torn out on Dynamite.
Yeah.
The amount of blood that came from it was pretty accurate.
Well, I was also thinking if you have a Prince Albert and play without a cup, that could definitely lead to some interesting.
Just having a Prince Albert leads to some interesting conversations. Just in the airport.
Watching Tiger King. He had a Prince Albert with a padlock on it. Now that's
intense.
You're putting some weight down there when you start putting those master locks on there. No reference to Chris Masters. Although he put Sonny in the master lock, but who hasn't?
Lugo gets out of it again.
Casamigos Tequila.
See, they spent all that money on Verlander and Scherzer, and they could have just re-signed Lugo. Would have solved all of their problems.
Just a second.
I'm actually checking WWE.com to see if there's any info about Raw tomorrow.
It wouldn't be yet.
No, nothing yet. Well, I mean, I thought they might have announced something, but, you know. And another thing that I'm thinking of now that Vince is back, we know he's not a big fan of Sami Zayn. If Vince is really back and has some kind of, real legit role in creative, are we going to see Sami stay where he is, or are they going to?
Oh, I also saw a report that apparently the Brock Lesnar Cody storyline was before WrestleMania happened.
Well,
did you hear the reasoning that came up as to why Brock attacked him?
No,
because Brock was on first at Mania. That's what they came up with.
Are you sure?
It's like
I know Vince rewrote the ending of Raw. There was 3 or 4 different rewrites of the finish of Raw, and then Vince, what we saw was Vince booking the finish of Raw.
They booked a match the entire show, promoted it the entire show to not have the match.
Vince has such a hard-on for Brock Lesnar, it just kills me.
Did you guys hear Brian Alvarez's 10-minute explanation of the ending of Raw?
And he beat him. And he beat him.
And he beat him.
Just went on and on.
He beat him. And he beat him. And he beat him. And then he grabbed a chair. And then he continued to beat him. And he beat him. And then he threw his lifeless corpse over the steel steps. And then you know what? He went up to the top of the ramp, took his gloves off, and realized
Bogart singles.
And then he beat him. And he beat
him. The other thing better would have been if Brock had picked up a rubber chicken and hit him over the head.
A loaded chicken?
A loaded rubber chicken.
So basically, Brock attacked Cody because he's jealous that a guy who can actually wrestle was on the main event versus Brock, who can't do jack shit, was the opener.
I'm worried for Kevin and Sammy now.
That's what I was saying. I mean, if Vince is back, he's not going to tolerate Sammy being on top. Oh, what a grab by Acuna.
Holy shit.
But Kevin and Sammy are kind of tucked away over in the tag team division, and Vince don't give a sweet fuck about tag teams.
Nope.
Unless he can break them up.
Yeah, well, that's why they put them together, is to break them up.
You want to know
Might
my
just
favorite
leave them
part about that Brian Alvarez rant, though? He kept going as they put the ending like backdrop of the show up, and you just keep hearing him go on about it. It seems
looks like
something
Acuna
that we were
dropped
talking
it.
about. Oh, he did drop it.
It is, yeah.
Holy moly! I thought I could for his body I couldn't see it. So yeah, so 1-0 runners at the corners,
Okay.
and Soto is up. See, that's the with this Padres lineup. This is how they're going to beat so many teams because they scored a run with in their 5, 6, 7 guys. Then 7, 8, 9 came and went. Then back to the top of the order, and they got runners at first and third with Soto up. I mean, just tacking on a run every couple of innings or so. I mean, that's just eventually, that's going to be how they beat a lot of teams because their lineup is just that stacked.
And I don't know if the Dodgers are as stacked as they used to be. If you look.
I don't think so either. The Dodgers they're still a damn good team, but they've got a great farm system, but the Dodgers are they're not like gift wrap paper thin. They're more like wax paper thin. You can't quite see all the way through it, but they're not as thick as they were. They're not like the aluminum foil we've seen the last couple of years. Still damn good, but
3/4 of the infield they got issues with, like third, short, and second. They're not slam dunks.
Kershaw's not getting any younger. They lost their other big pitcher to Tommy John. I forget the kid's name. Walker Buehler. But even with all that, the Dodgers' problem is Dave Roberts. I know you two Boston fans are gonna, he stole second base in Game 4. Well, Dave Roberts, I don't think can manage his way out of a wet paper bag. He has been riding on talent the entire time he has been in Los Angeles.
Ooh, that's gone. Bye.
Nelly.
Nelly Cruz. You're still not getting my Hall of Fame shot.
He murdered that.
4-0.
It's why I put in the description "Slam Diego" because I had a feeling they were going to hit some home runs.
So what's coming up for RAWBall? We got the draft coming up April 27th, Backlash May 6th, Cards Red Sox series. I think it's second weekend in May. Red Sox, White Sox, end of June. There's quite a few PLEs this spring. Got Backlash, King and Queen of the Ring. There's another show.
There's a Ring of Honor show coming up, isn't there, Dave?
What, pay-per-view?
Yeah. Isn't a Death Before Dishonor coming up soon?
No, every 3 months because they got 4 a year.
Okay.
Well, I'll check though. I know AEW got a shit ton of stuff coming up.
Oh yeah, big news in AEW: the first London show.
Wembley, yeah.
They got to get Punk back for that.
I do agree.
Even with Punk, I don't think they would fill it. Now they would do double what they would do otherwise without if they got Punk. I think they could aim for 50,000-60,000 versus I think they'll get about 20, somewhere between 20 to 30,000 in there.
I think we're going to get a pretty big turnout for this show.
They had, now this was in Twitterville, but I seen they had 25,000 pre-sales.
Oh wow!
Yeah, I was about to say I have a very strong feeling this show's going to overperform a lot of people's expectations.
Well, you got to think, right? They're going to bring in wrestlers from everywhere.
They're going to have to.
New Japan, Ring of Honor, whoever they can get from England will be on that card. They'll probably have guys from Impact there, AAA. Like they'll they'll draw from all over the globe.
Yeah.
And if they do by chance get Mercedes, that's going to bring a bunch of eyes regardless.
Yeah. Osprey's already commented he wants in. So
Vikingo? You think they'll get Vikingo over there?
Give me Osprey versus Vikingo. Give me
Osprey versus Vikingo in Wembley. Yeah.
Even though
I definitely would watch that.
They're probably going to do Osprey Omega one more time, this time in Wembley, and that would be insane.
Well, if you bring Punk back.
Well, it's insane to have Kenny Omega headlining or even on a wrestling card because
that match shouldn't headline.
The stench that comes from matches Omega has generally just. I'm sorry, Dave. Oh, Dave's still here. Sorry.
But Kenny will bring in the wrestling crowd. He'll bring in the New Japan crowd. He'll bring in the Canadian crowd. Like he'll draw from those places a lot. And if you pair him with Punk, like that could be huge.
I don't think Punk's coming back.
I think he might. Like I told you a while back, Cap. I still think there's a good chance this was all a fucking work.
Yeah, I don't think Tony does this if he doesn't have Punk ready to go.
If I'm CM Punk, I am not setting foot in an AEW venue again until I know Kenny and the Bucks and Hangman Page are in Siberia somewhere. Because
Siberia.
They're not going anywhere, including Stanford. That crew can get that idea out of their head.
Is WWE?
Well, see, here's the thing. I mean,
Stanford anymore?
Oh, I don't even know.
Well, okay, yes. For as much shit as I give Omega, he is capable of having a good match. It's just, it's all his other stupid shit he does that pisses me off. The Young Bucks, they're about as useless as tits on a boar hog. I mean, there is nothing about them that I will watch a Kenny Omega match depending on who his dance partner is. But the Bucks, I just want to see.
His partner is Phil. It's going to be a very different style of match because it can't be one of those high octane type of deals.
No, because Phil's. I mean, well, they're not that different in age, though. I mean, they're both in their 40s.
No, Kenny's only late 30s.
Yeah,
close
I'm
enough.
pretty sure Kenny's late 30s. No, Punk's like in his mid 40s.
Yeah, there's a bit of a gap there, and he's a little more brittle than what Kenny was, especially now after Kenny's been put back together.
Yeah, well, and I mean, Punk's his last two injuries. I mean,
well, that's why you'd have to structure the match different. It would be more of a psychology match type of deal. Like it wouldn't be what you saw with Osprey and Omega. You're not getting that.
Yeah, Osprey Omega was straight.
Yeah,
high octane.
These mittens that the base runners are wearing now,
I hate them.
They just
what?
These mittens, that the base runners wear now. It's just it looks like hooves.
To keep their hands warm, or
no, it's so they don't hurt their hands whenever they're sliding into the bag. I mean, I understand there's a method to the madness. They just look like shit.
And I could see it if it was prior to the changes, what you could do around the bag as a defender. Because you used to be able to get in there and kind of block them to an extent. You can't do that now. You're just sliding into the bag. Slide accordingly. It's not that complicated. Lugo putting them down.
You don't see or hear that very often.
What's that doing for my
pop up?
Ooh, I have gained a half point.
Oh,
Davey Baseball is pleased.
The value of Seth Lugo. Dave's going to ride him all the way to the slugger.
Right, I passed the season award banquet.
So let's see. Champagne's at 73.5. I'm at 72. Justin's at 70.5. Dave's at 68. Matty's 62.5. Dev's 61.5. And then there's a big drop.
It is insane to me that Nelly Cruz still has that insane power.
He's just one of those guys that
he is the one that is the closest to being able to I believe get to 500 next, wasn't it, Cap?
Yeah, we were talking about that earlier. He's only at this point now 39 home runs away from 500. So if he hits 20 this year, hits 20 next year, I mean, he's there.
He just has to avoid that I've fallen off a cliff, Miguel Cabrera.
Yeah. Well, Miguel Cabrera was a Triple Crown winner. Cruz was never on that level.
No, I just meant like when Miguel fell off, he fell right the fuck off.
Yeah. I mean, I made it a point to watch that game where he got his 3,000th hit because I was saying this may be the last guy to get to 3,000 at the rate at which guys are retiring so much earlier now and focusing on either home run, strikeout, or walk as opposed to just getting the fuck on base, you know. Just hit good line drives, boys. Just hit the ball. Ain't got to swing for the fences every time. Just hit the ball. Not every time. Just hit the ball.
Just tap it in.
Just tap it in. Just live a little tap, tap, tappy.
What, are you too good to go in your home?
Dave, would you say, mentioning The Simpsons, would you say Miguel Cabrera's fall off was kind of like Homer trying to jump the cliff on Bart's skateboard? I'm going to make it. This is the greatest feeling in the world. Woohoo!
I was close. Yeah.
Springfield Gorge. That was the name of the place. Yeah, Springfield Gorge. You didn't start making sense. We're going to put you in a home. You already put me in a home. They want to put you in the crooked home we saw in 60 Minutes. I'll be good. Are you trying to stall us, or are you just senile? Yeah, a little from column A, a little from column B.
Tomorrow's going to be one hell of a day. There's a lot of shit to move.
How much do you...
Not as much as I think it's going to be to move.
So Acuna got walked. Oh, no, that was a walk in the first. He just got on base. Okay.
Doesn't Acuna got, like, legs? Like, that man can run?
Yeah, Acuna. Well, not quite when he first came in because he had I think he tore an ACL, actually, a year or two. Was it 2 years ago, Dave, when he had the ACL? But, I mean, yeah. He's still got some wicked speed. Not quite. He's still 85-90% of what he was when he first came up. So I mean, he's still got some legs, but he's more of like a. Whereas when he came up, he was one of those 40-40 guys. Now he's more like a 40-25-30 guy.
Well, last year he had 29 stolen bases, only 119 games. They can still motor.
He does still have legs, then.
Yes. It has been confirmed that Ronald Acuna does have legs.
No worries.
He's not out there walking around on stumps.
Could you imagine a Pirate playing baseball just like no legs, just running on peg legs, but stealing bases and shit?
Well,
they called me Woody.
Well, we had a pitcher with one hand.
Yeah. I did a book report on him. I did a book report on Jim Abbott.
And Kerry Von Erich had 1 foot.
That was nuts to me. I didn't know that until Royal Rumble of this year.
Yep.
Mick Foley has 1 ear, mostly.
I do know that.
Yeah, 1 1/4.
1 1/4.
1 1/4. Let's see. Flair has 3 livers.
Has to.
I think he just regrows them, doesn't he?
I honestly don't know. Well, they had to cut out a large portion of his bowel and small intestine whenever he had that health scare.
Me and Devin have a running joke that, well, it's kind of a running dark joke, but that Ric Flair been selling other wrestlers' souls to the devil because every time Ric Flair gets sick, like one of the legends just fucking drop and he gets better all of a sudden. It's happened.
That's true.
It's happened with Piper. It happened with Patterson. It happened with, I think, Warrior as well. He got sick and then Warrior died.
Well, we know. Well, Pat Patterson was old age. Piper was just
died in his sleep.
Yeah. Warrior, we know why that happened.
Yeah.
Just years and years and years and years of steroid abuse.
Who, Hellwig or Piper?
Hellwig.
Oh, Hellwig, yeah.
Hellwig was a heart attack waiting to happen 30 years ago.
Oh, I remember that Raw. He was huffing and puffing in that ring.
That promo was a very, yeah.
Ironic, considering he dropped dead within 24 hours. So what we got? Runners on first and double play. They advanced the runners, so Braves got a shot here to get on the board.
Yeah, bottom of the third, 4-0. That's a little steep to try to come back from early.
Oh, Matty, I just saw in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen, tomorrow night at 7 Eastern is the WNBA draft. Should we cover that?
I mean, who's coming out of the women's Final Four that?
It was a completely rhetorical exercise.
I don't know much.
I'll stay. So, I mean, obviously no team's going to go 162-0, but how long do the Rays keep this streak up?
Tomorrow.
Are they going to be part of your parlay every day until they lose?
Mayhaps.
Why are they asking Manny Machado stupid questions like go-to Easter candy?
Because it's Easter.
Yeah, but you've got, one of the best players in the game mic'd up and you're asking him stupid shit like Adley Rutschman went 4 for 4 today. Fuck, that kid is
a dog.
I'm so glad I drafted him. I liked him, but I had a hunch he was going to be a lot better this year, and so far I was right.
Yeah, he's a dog. How's Real Muto doing?
Tampa Bay.
So yeah, John Ram won the Masters. Let's see, Real Muto. Let me pull up the Phillies here.
Live ball. End of inning. Lugo gets out of it.
Let's see. What do I see here? Stats. Philadelphia Phillies. Real Muto. He is 8 for 31 on the year, batting .226 with a dinger, 13 total bases.
Oh,
I mean,
and out. End of the inning.
Yeah, Real Muto he's still a good catcher, but he's not the offensive threat that he used to be. So I heard a good joke today in regards to Vincent Price McMahon. They're like, did you think he stole Rudy Giuliani's hair dye? He's seriously like he has given me that Vincent Price vibe.
He looks like a fucking supervillain, bro.
He doesn't.
Doesn't
look like one. He is one.
He is a real life Bond villain, or like classic horror movie villain, or some kind of villain. He's, oof.
What if they'll bring back the egg tomorrow?
I swear to shit.
The gobbledygooker.
No, the egg.
the golden
the
egg.
The golden egg. Remember that?
I don't remember the golden egg.
It was the movie tie-in with the Rocks movie, Red.
Oh yeah, that. Good God.
You
They kept
remember
alluding
now?
to the rock. It's like, oh, the rock is showing up. It's like, no, it's an egg.
Terrible.
Rock is a man.
Whoever found the egg got a title shot, wasn't it?
Rock the Dwayne Johnson is a mammal. He endured a live birth rather than coming from an egg like some odd reptile.
I actually feel bad for the fan base because they're for the next 8-9 months they're going to have to put up with. Do you think Dwayne will show up at Mania next year again?
Well, at this point, I mean, he's got to be the final boss for Roman. I mean, who is Roman going to drop the belt to? The belts, I should say.
I don't think. Ooh, home run.
So yeah, you're a little Grisham. Yeah, so that makes it 5-0. Well, if this is a preview of the NLCS, then I think we know which one of these two teams would be going to the World Series.
See, the cable is faster here in Canada.
I'm surprised with all the snow on the ground. I figured it would be freezing the lines.
No.
109.3 exit velocity, 424 feet. That is
another dinger.
Ugh, that is just right on the screws.
This game is not looking good for the Braves. Can you check on your brother for us real quick, Cap?
Oh, I texted him and back in the third. I think he's actually driving home right now from his in-laws, but I'll have to check on it later just to see if. Well, also again, the Masters was going on, so if he was listening to anything, it'd be the Masters. He's a golf nut. Let's see something we might need to add to the ticker. I'm trying to see what the date is for the Kentucky Derby. Saturday, May 6th.
Okay.
But that's the same day as Backlash, isn't it?
I'm pretty sure.
Well, I'm not doing double duty that day.
Have it on a second screen.
Well, no, they run the Kentucky Derby around 5 o'clock Central Time. I mean, there's a lot of races that day, but like the actual main event, the Derby, they run about 5 or 5:15 Central Time.
And yeah, Backlash is the 6th.
So, well.
What if tomorrow they bring Cody out with black tights and polka dots?
I swear to God.
And they bring out Brandy in, what was the Precious in that kind of role to the Common Man theme. Oh, the nostalgia.
The nostalgia.
Nostalgia my ass.
Book that.
More like pass the milk of magnesia and put me out Michael Jackson style.
They brought Seth out in polka dots.
That was a rib.
It's not out of the realm of possibilities. I'm telling you.
I don't think Cody would do that. I can't see Cody doing that himself. I mean, yeah, it made sense with Seth. That I got that. That was fun, but for that to happen to Cody.
I put out a tweet yesterday. I thought it was a great idea. Just have Cody go through every gimmick that he's had, and he can't move on until he wins the feud. I'd love to see Cody with a snap.
You have a sick mind, Dave. Don't be putting this shit out in the universe.
It's not out into the ether, please.
Yes, there's some things in life that I would just prefer to not ever have to see again.
I was told that if I can't say anything nice about WWE, to not say anything at all. So I'm trying to be positive on there.
Are you getting an ad for Nicolas Cage and Renfield?
I'm getting commercial break in progress.
I got a Tim Hortons commercial because I'm Canadian.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Tim Hortons up there is like Dunkin' Donuts in the East. They're just
Basically,
everywhere.
yeah.
Or
Yep.
like a Starbucks out west.
I mean, Starbucks is big nationally, but Tim Hortons is all over Canada. I mean, they're like are they like the biggest sponsor of the NHL?
Oh, I have a Tim Hortons at the bottom of my step.
Yeah, there's a
They
Tim
just,
Hortons
they just,
everywhere.
they just sprout up like dandelions.
Like, wasn't that a vacant lot yesterday? Nope, now it's a Tim Hortons.
Tim Hortons now. Oh shit.
I gotta grab some water. I will be right back.
No worries, no worries. So, Dave, what is your wildest prediction for this year's baseball season?
Wildest prediction.
Mine is that Aaron Judge's home run total is going to get broken again this year.
No, I don't see that happening.
64 home runs this year. Let's go.
I think somebody, I don't know who, is going to eclipse 60 stolen bases.
For the first time in years.
Yep.
Here's hoping. I've always been a big fan of the stolen bases.
I loved that back in the 80s. They were running all the time, everybody. Henderson, Ron LaFleur, Tim Raines, Vince Coleman.
Juan Pierre.
Yeah, Juan Pierre was another one.
Kenny Lofton always had a bit of speed.
Yeah, he was another one too. Yeah, no, I always loved that part of the game.
And then, like even with some of our Red Sox, Johnny Damon when he played for us was a speedster. Jacoby Ellsbury was a speedster.
And that was rare for us because we were for years a station to station team. Hit the ball, run to first, stay there.
So they took 5. They haven't taken Dodd out yet, have they?
Let's see.
I don't think so. As Bobby Heenan would say, get the hook.
Nope, Dodd is still in.
Well, I mean, they are so banged up right now. I mean, their bullpen can't be in too good a shape.
Yeah, I'd say
Jesse Chavez has had an interesting start to the year. 39-year-old Jesse Chavez has all 3 saves for the Braves this year.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
he was always kind of dependable in short bursts. Like I wouldn't want him as a 4th starter or something, but in roles like that, he always performed.
Matty, how bad does it hurt seeing Xander Bogaerts in that Padres uniform?
It does sting. It does sting. Not quite as much as seeing Mookie Betts in a Dodger uniform, especially after we paid him $500 million. But I digress.
It's all right, Matty. Break out the Kleenex. It's okay.
We've made some really shit decisions with our money, haven't we, Dave? Like
Yes,
the Red Sox.
Yes, we have.
But didn't we do something very
John Henry has endless pockets.
Well, we got to fix whatever it is we're trotting out to the mound, because if we don't, it doesn't matter who we trot out to the batter's box.
Yeah.
Like that pitching staff is a mess.
Looks like Dom Mysterio, but much, much younger right there. That little kid eating the ice cream.
It probably is Dom. He probably
I think SummerSlam, I think we need to get – well, I mean, if Ray is wanting to wind things down, Ray versus Dom, either for the mask or for the career. Because Dom eventually has to go over Daddy.
Well, you would think. In a decently run universe.
Oh, that's right. I forget. You know, see all these things I was hoping for, and we haven't heard hide nor hair about Bray as far as what the fuck's going on there in about a month or so. I mean,
I think
I
someone
don't know
was
if
saying
he's just.
milk carton in Orange County. They're still looking for it.
Maybe we are bad luck. We ran into him the day after the Rumble in that Mountain Dew match, and
We were there for
since
both of Kofi's botches.
I think we are just plain fuck bad luck, man. Nothing good happens when we get around these guys.
No, not in the slightest. We are definitely people's bad luck charms.
Both of our first ever WWE events was Rumble 2022, and we had to endure that shit show.
It was yeah.
So now, since Vince has torn both of his quads, Shane's torn one of his quads. Does Stephanie book herself in a match and tear one of her quads? I mean, the legs of the McMahon family just aren't steady.
I think they should trot Linda out.
Oh God. I don't think we'll ever see her on WWE programming again. I mean, hell, her and Vince have been separated for what, 15 years now?
Man, trot her out. Put her with Lita and Trish.
Dave, you're thinking, and I like that, but stop. You're putting some ideas out into the transom there that might just waft into Vincent Price McMahon's head.
Somebody's gonna hear it.
Oh yes, WWE creative is just all over us. They just want to.
Oh yeah, why wouldn't they be? We're one of the best on YouTube.
Yeah, they're watching us for ideas. Amateur Booker of the Year 2022, remaining champion. Hell, I booked better shows with far less talent last year than what they have on their roster. I had to rebook Uncensored 96, Starcade 1999, and what was the other shithole I had to redo? Gosh, I remember the first one was Uncensored 96, the last one was Starcade 99. What was the one in the middle that I had to? It was when I was competing against Dutch.
Oh, I don't remember. Was it Slamboree?
No, it wasn't Slamboree. Oh gosh, now I'm trying to think. I don't know. It's at this point it's like PTSD. I've tried to put so much of it out of my mind. And Padres coming back up to bat, top of the fifth. As Bob Uecker would say, or well, Harry Doyle, top of the fifth. Hello, you fans of the feathered. Harry Doyle here again. They've shown this video between Juan and Acuna now like 4 times.
They were on the same baseball classic team, weren't they?
I believe so.
It would have been, yeah. Tony gave a nice little call out to Cody, too.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, that was very nice.
I will say this for Tony Khan. While he can't book to save his fucking life, he does seem like a really decent human being.
He seems to be a very good human being.
I mean, all the stuff he did, for the Briscoes, that nod to Cody.
He's been staying tan.
Yeah.
He's been out for a while now. He's been paid the whole time.
Which is fucking great. Especially after the Bucks kind of killed him and Ortiz's momentum.
Well, I mean, we haven't seen hide in her hair from Adam Cole, and
Well, he just had his match back with Dan.
That's right. He was gone so long I forgot he was back.
I thought that was another dinger.
Double for Soto. They are pouring. They're going to start pouring it on here. Dodd's up to 69 pitches.
That was inches from going out.
John Ram wins the Masters by 4 strokes, finishes 12 under par.
Well, my coworker was right with John Ram then.
I think doesn't Nicholas have the all-time? No, that's in. I think that's the U.S. Open. Nicholas still has the all-time best finish for.
So there's Phil Mickelson, Jack Nicklaus, and who else?
Well, I mean, Mickelson's never been a whole lot to write home about. Nicholas was a beast.
Oh, Nicholas is one of the best to ever do it.
I think Nicholas, didn't he finish an Open like 14 or 15 under once? Let me see here. Jack Nicklaus, best U.S. Open. So he has 18 major wins, won the U.S. Open 4 times. I'm trying to see, but there was
102.3 exit velocity on that last shot to the wall.
Jesus.
Nelly with the RBI. 6-0.
Good God, there are children watching this thing.
At what point do you guys think there should be a mercy rule?
Baseball? No, follow on, man.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, you got to stop them. I'm trying to see here.
Ooh, nice catch by the kid, which is shocking. It looks like she was wearing a Washington Nationals jersey.
Yeah, you don't see them catching much.
Anything? No.
Let me see. No, she was wearing one of the alternate Braves jerseys where it's red with the dark blue Braves.
Right.
So Nicholas won the Masters 6 times, won the PGA Championship 5 times, the U.S. Open 4 times, and the Open Championship 3 times.
Fucking dog at golf.
Yes, Nicholas was a beast.
Those were
Still
wooden bugs. Cronenworth up the bat. Man on
He's
second.
a scary bat.
No, didn't Cronenworth play for the Athletics a couple of seasons ago?
Cronenworth?
They got
I
him.
think he was with Tampa, I think. I think he was with Tampa. I'm sure our Oracle can effort this for us.
Where has he been on his travels?
Because he's a journeyman, right?
No, started in 2020 with San Diego.
Oh, okay.
But I'm almost positive they traded for him, though.
My brother just texted us a question. We kind of mentioned it a little bit. Tampa Bay Rays, smoke or fire?
Oh, it's definitely smoke. But where there is smoke, there is fire. And I think the fire is going to dim out very soon.
I mean, granted, they swept the A's, which, you know, I mean, it's too early to tell, but I would honestly never count the Rays out. They are the sneakiest team in baseball.
Always have been.
They find ways to win every year that's just insane. I would say
they're legit from the way they manage the games they play. They're legit because they don't rely on one specific guy.
I would say they're fire, but they're not like a raging bonfire. They're more like just a nice, steady, good campfire. You know, they keep going.
Definitely have the legs to go very deep this season, which is why I think I have them at number 2 or possibly number 1 to win our division.
Like they're the fire that someone tells you to go put out and you think you did and you come back and it's still burning. It's like, fuck.
Yep.
Yeah. Like, how do I put this out? It's like, well, you can't really.
You fucked up. That's a team that can cook. That's a team that can.
Cronenworth is up to 9 pitches in this at bat.
And Jake Cronenworth traded by the Tampa Bay Rays with Tommy Pham to the San Diego Padres for a player to be named later, Xavier and Hunter Renfroe. And the San Diego Padres sent Esteban Quiros to Tampa to complete the trade.
I think the Padres won that one.
Slightly, yeah.
Slightly.
Yeah. Although Hunter did, Hunter Renfroe just does the same stuff wherever he plays.
Our buddy Utree, he's actually been doing a series of videos lately on like all-time worst trades in the NFL. I'm hoping he'll do some in baseball.
Well, there's been some doozies.
Oh yes, there have been some doozies. Babe Ruth to the Yankees, obviously, is probably the first.
For Broadway money.
Yeah, no, Nanette. Yeah, no, Nanette. Gosh, all-time worst trades in baseball. Whew. Gosh, probably the Rangers in the early 2000s basically trading the farm for Alex Rodriguez.
The Angels trading for Albert Pujols and getting what they got for him.
That may be the worst trade ever in terms of what they paid him versus what they got back for him on the field production.
Unfortunately, Pujols was one of my favorites, and I'm glad he got to the milestone that he did. But what I will say is, when he got to the Angels, I was like, this is going to get the Angels a World Series. And then I was so sad and disappointed by how far he fell.
Let's see here. I actually found this on Bleacher Report. The worst trades of all time. Giants trade Joe Nathan, Francisco Liriano for A.J. Pierzynski.
For one guy?
Orioles traded Kurt Schilling, Pete Harnish, and Steve Finley for Glenn Davis.
Where did they go?
Tigers got Max Scherzer from the Arizona Diamondbacks for Edwin Jackson and Ian Kennedy.
Mariners trade of Randy Johnson. That was a bad one. Jason Varitek and Derek Lowe to Boston from the Mariners.
I love Varitek.
Mark McGwire to the Cardinals for pitching poo-poo platter. The Red Sox traded Jeff Bagwell for Larry Anderson. Tigers traded John Smoltz to the Braves for Doyle Alexander. Rangers trading Sammy Sosa to the White Sox for Harold Baines. Yeah, that was not a good one. And obviously Babe Ruth to the New York Yankees for cash.
Is that why you can't trade players for money anymore?
Oh, you can still trade for cash.
You can trade money for players?
Yeah.
We have Walmart money. What the fuck is going on in Denver?
I believe you're thinking of the team down the street. They have Walmart money. Colorado, they can't rub two nickels together.
Good point. I mean, obviously we can. We gave it to Chris Bryant.
Another bad one.
Not Nolan Arenado. Oh. So they took out Dodd. Lutge's in.
Pirates deal Jose Bautista to Toronto for Robinson Diaz.
Yeah, that was a big one. And then didn't Bautista go on to hit 56 home runs the next season?
Oh, yeah.
Bautista had some beastly years in Toronto. He took full advantage of Rogers Center. Well, there was another trade that the Sox made that was ridiculous when they traded Bill Lee to Montreal. At that point, he was the winningest left-hander in Red Sox history, and he didn't get along too well with the Red Sox. Well, Bill Lee never got along with anybody, but Bill Lee's he's just a character.
Another bad one from way back in the day. The Cubs trade Lou Brock to the Cardinals for Ernie Broglio. Never heard of him. Never heard of him. But that was a bad one.
Did Kim just homer? Oh God, he did.
Bruh.
7-8 nothing.
He had to like fish for that one.
Good God Almighty! This is a fucking shooting gallery.
Guys, do I have him?
He's Asian. You probably do.
Oh, I'm a half point at a third. Look the fuck out.
Good. I mean, he had it in his glove. It just the momentum of the ball took it out of there.
It hit like his pinky.
This Padre lineup. Now, granted, they're not facing the best that Atlanta has to offer on the mound, but
I will say that this was a lineup that Cap touted very early in preseason.
I mean, it's to me probably the best lineup I've seen in maybe
like you said,
15 years.
This is not what they would normally be facing if Atlanta was full out.
If I think 3 of their top 5 starting pitchers are on the shelf right now.
Yeah.
Within the first 10 days of the season.
Asanola, a 143 batting average. I wonder if he's on the waiver wire.
Hey, you want him? He's all yours.
My catching is stupendous. Don't need him.
I've got Rutschman, and Christian Vasquez is off to a pretty decent start too.
Won't last. He will break your heart into a million pieces. Me and Matty.
Oh my God! I think I may have just found the most LA Angels story of all time. Putting it in the chat here. Angels AA affiliate allows no hits, loses 7-5.
I saw a video about this.
No hits. Good Lord. Are you, Matty, are you aware of the results from the New Japan show?
I know that my boy finally got his due. I know Sonata, after almost a decade, finally got his due. Other than that, no.
With that taking place and Okada not having that belt and mentioned a change of scenery.
Here you go, Dave.
Jesus.
That's a damn
quite a line.
Scorecard.
And Matty, to answer your previous question, right there just happened. We traded Ruiz to the Diamondbacks for cash.
Okada MJF at Wembley.
Ooh. Now that I would be interested in.
Well, Okada is no longer IWGP champ.
Okada wants a belt.
He said a change of scenery.
Ruiz, 28, was designated for assignment Friday after allowing 9 runs on 8 hits and 4 relief appearances this season alone.
Pulling that story.
They DFA'd his ass. Well, maybe that's part of the problem. Yeah, that first sentence there. 9 runs on 8 hits and 4 appearances in the first 10 games of the year.
That's insane.
Oh boy. Trying to see Rays route A's. I'm trying to find the video of Cruz breaking his. I saw the story, but I haven't seen the actual video. Was it pretty rough, Dave?
Of who?
The shortstop for the Pirates, O'Neill Cruz, fractured his ankle in
Oh,
a collision at home plate
Oh
today.
no!
I haven't seen the video yet. No, but
I'm waiting on this ad to finish on ESPN so I can actually take a look at it. Trying to see how bad of a break it was.
To see if it's something we can show on YouTube.
Well, I mean,
We can show
okay,
it more than likely.
so there's the hit. Oh, yay! Go!
Like we talking to Floppy Boy or
Moises Alou.
That's not a Sid Vicious, but I thought for a minute I saw bone. It was a shadow on the ground, but oof.
Yeah, okay. So he's 2024, but before you'll see him.
And then there was a fight afterwards. What the fuck? The guy's laying on the ground with a broken ankle, and you guys get into a fight?
Well, of course.
testosterone. Here's the.
Yeah,
It is.
that was pretty rough. I will say. Mm.
Ooh.
Yeah, wind it back here.
Here we go.
Yeah, it bent. It bent and then it broke.
Oh. What a shame, too. He has so much talent, that kid.
Yes.
And
How old is he?
Oh, he's only
24, 23, if
And
that.
there's the fight.
I don't even know if he's that.
He's young. Even in defeat, my socks have no class. The poor bastard just broke his ankle, guys.
It is currently 8-0 Padres.
Well, what I was anticipating to be a pretty decent match, given the Braves' bats, and given Seth Lugo's propensity to fuck up on royal levels, I'm a bit surprised, not at the outcome thus far, but just the overall. Oh, well, right as I say that,
O'Neill
Braves
Cruz
have him
24.
24.
24. And they got him
So-
from the Dodgers.
Yeah. So the Braves have runners on first and third, nobody out with the top of the order coming up, so they may make this interesting.
That's an awfully long avenue they would have to travel to get to interesting.
Oh, that's the New Jersey Turnpike. But
Yeah, there's a couple of bus transfers in there, too.
might have a layover at LaGuardia. I'm trying to pull that one off.
There's fucking Tom Hanks in the terminal.
Stole second.
There we go. There's
Okay.
stolen
I
base.
think that was
Oh, so Cap,
a straight steal.
Or was it a pass ball?
I asked Dave, Cap, what do you think is going to be your wildest prediction for the season?
Wildest prediction for the baseball season. Oh, shit. Oh, that's a foul.
Dave said 60 stolen bases is going to be cracked this season. I said there's going to be another home run leader by the end of the season.
Big surprise this year. Honestly, apart from a couple of teams, I think that may do pretty good as far as individual achievement. One of my guys on my fantasy team, Luis Arias, I think he could. He has the tools to finish the year batting .350.
Okay.
Because he almost won the AL batting title last year. He finished second for it, or did he win? He was right up there at the end. But Arias has the contact skills to be a 350 hit. He could hit 350.
Yeah, I could see that. I don't see anybody ever approaching 400 again. That's
no. I mean, we got as close as we were going to get in '94 with Gwen. He was at what 390, 394,
396, I think it was
396. Okay, yeah, he was in the 390s. So we got robbed there, but I 400. We're never going to see that. Which is another really cool when you consider that year, 1941, Williams hit 406, and that was also the same year DiMaggio had the 56 game hitting streak.
Yeah, and Williams could have sat that last game, and he chose not to.
Yep. Well, actually, was it a double header that day on the last one of the season, or
I think it was. Yeah.
Yeah, he came in. It would have rounded up to 400 had he just sat out, but he went. Was it 4 for 6? Or
Yeah,
no, it was a double.
yeah.
It was a double header. He wound up at 406, so he obviously tattooed the ball that day. But yeah, Williams, in my opinion, is probably the greatest pure hitter in the game. I know that's not really a stretch. I mean, it's fucking Ted Williams, but
Oh,
I don't
all
think we've
around, as far as being able to hit, average, power, all
yeah,
of it?
just pure hitter. I don't think we've ever had a better one than Ted Williams. The next closest, I would say, Bonds in his early days before the roids. I would put up there
You
Chipper
have to have
Jones.
both.
Chipper Jones for the Braves because he was a switch hitter who finished with a 300 average from both sides. Pete Rose obviously wasn't a power guy, but 4,256 hits. I mean, so I would say those four probably would be my top hitters.
Got to be in that conversation.
I was trying to think of. So who did I say? Ted Williams, Pete Rose, Barry Bonds, the early, pre-steroid years, and then Chipper Jones. You can throw Tony Gwynn in there. I wouldn't have a problem with that.
Tony Gwynn was Greg Maddux of hitters. He was just precise in what he did.
I'm hesitant to put Ty Cobb in there in that group simply because of the era, because he played in the dead ball era, and Cobb. Yes, he was the guy who Rose broke his record, but it's kind of apples and oranges. Cobb, I think, is the best all-around baseball player of all time.
That was a completely different setup too.
Again, we're looking at apples and oranges.
Yeah.
Cobb could hit. He could steal. He could play defense. Cobb was just, and he played the game with an intensity that I wish we would see more often. Now, granted, off the field, Cobb was
altogether
a whole different animal, and there's been, how do I put this? There have been some stories told about him that are overblown. There's been other stories told. There's been, it's Ty Cobb. There's been lots of books written on him. There's plenty of evidence to a lot of it. I tend to believe that, yes, he was more of the shitty human being than how certain historians have tried to rehabilitate him. I mean, to his credit, in his latter years, he did sort of see the error of his ways, so that helps a bit. But yeah, he was. I won't go into details, but anyone who watches this, just look up the words. Just Google Ty Cobb and racism, and I'll leave it at that.
Yes, poster child.
Poster child.
The thing with Ty and a lot of
damn it, honey! Don't you know to not make a joke until after I swallow?
Twitter, that's pretty much all I do. You've been forewarned like for quite a while now. The thing with Ty, though, and a lot of hitters from that era, the pitchers that they were facing in the first inning was the exact same pitcher they were facing in the ninth. They
Yes.
didn't take note.
Relief pitching did not exist.
No, so
for the most part.
Yeah, like you pitched a lot of innings.
You didn't even really see relief pitching start to become a big thing until the 50s. With
50s and 60s is when it started.
Was Casey Stengel with the Yankees was the first manager to really get heavy into using relief pitching. Is that a sperm running around the warning track?
Oh, that's the freeze. That's his name, the freeze. True story.
Oh, well, they call him the freeze. The fastest thing on two knees. Sorry, Ray Stevens, I had to steal that one from you a bit.
You know who's not at this game tonight? Cody Rhodes.
He messaged me that on Twitter.
San Diego Chicken. He'd be running out of the arena fucking screaming.
Yep.
So Dale Murphy.
Well, a couple of grand slams, and the Braves are right back in this one.
Dale Murphy, Hall of Famer. Since ever watching a Braves game?
No, not in my opinion. Borderline, but again, I'm twisting the thumb down there for Dale. And the top of the order is back up for the Padres. God, the Braves cannot catch a fucking break.
No, they cannot. This has been a massacring.
Whew. I mean, from what we've seen out of the Dodgers, and again, it's April 9th. We're roughly 10 games into the season, give or take, depending on rainouts and whatever. But say we're 10 games into the season, and so far the Dodgers haven't looked too dodgy. I mean, days are out. The Diamondbacks, when I looked at the standings right now, Diamondbacks are leading the AL or leading the NL West. Padres are they're probably going to be tied with them if this score holds, so they'll be tied for the division lead. The Dodgers are a game back. Giants just always hang around in the weeds.
In the weeds. You ever heard that lately? Oh, yes. Vincent Price.
So,
House of Wax and Gorilla.
So to give you an idea of how bad some teams are to start the year off, the Tigers have a minus 35 run differential.
Oh, Lord.
The A's are bringing up the damn rear at minus 45 runs. The Phillies minus 22. The Rockies aren't doing too bad. They're only 4-6 with a minus 14 run differential.
That'll crater out shortly.
Yeah.
Easy.
Sox have a negative 50. I was saying Boston is 5-4 with a plus 12.
Yeah, that's a mirage. That's not gonna last. Well,
as Matty said, the Rays are 9-0 with a plus 57. Yankees are 6-3 with a plus 19.
Yankees got some pitching issues. That could be their downfall. They can hit, there's no problem there. But
well, the Yankees have the same problem the Red Sox do, and to me, it's a stadium problem. Yankee Stadium is a hitter's paradise, and that place absolutely eats up right-handed pitchers, same way Fenway eats up lefties. Mm-hmm. Unless you are an absolute stud right-handed pitcher, you're going to get eaten alive in Yankee Stadium. I'll be right back, gentlemen.
Nelly Cruz up again.
He already hit a home run once in this. Oh, no, he didn't hit a homer. No, this is Juan Soto. On
Or
my
Juan Soto. No.
He's got a
Yeah.
chance to hit a home run.
I've been writing Nelson Cruz off for a decade, if not more.
And every year he's been telling you otherwise.
Hasn't happened yet.
He's been incredibly consistent. Like, I don't know, does he have a season where he hasn't hit 20 home runs or more?
Good question. Barring injury, I don't even know if he's been hurt. Nelson Cruz, 2005 to 2023. Let's see. $13. Outside of when he became a full-time player, which is basically 2009, he's had 2 years
Where he
under
didn't hit
20.
20 home runs?
And one of those, he only played 53 games, and he still hit 16. But last year, he hit 10 in Washington.
Thank you. I knew I forgot about this.
I think he was having vision problems last year, though. So that kind of led to it.
And did he play a full season last year?
Played 124 games, 507.
Okay. So, out of his entire career, he had one season where he legitimately averaged under 20.
Yeah. Well, in that year, the year he hit 16, he only played 53 games.
Yeah, and I was about to say, that's why I was like, legitimately, because if he would have played a full season, I guarantee it would have been over 20.
Yeah. So he's been consistent.
Did he just hit another one?
Nope.
No?
Yeah, I'm first.
Look at that swing, dude. He's got a good swing.
Well, playing that long, hitting that many home runs, you would have to. Otherwise, you never last. I'm just surprised the bat speed hasn't left him yet.
Ten to 1.
Oh, and when you see that Sakura show, you are going to absolutely love the Saber Jr.
Umino match.
Oh, yeah. And the Takahashi, Robbie Eagles, was really good.
Okay.
Yeah. Like that.
I forgot Robbie Eagles went back to New Japan for a little bit. How long's he been back?
That I do not know offhand.
There is 1 out, pop up, 2 outs. There are now 2 outs.
Most of his matches, except for one since October, have been in New Japan.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so he's been there for a while now. Oh, we're getting we're getting a debut in July on the AEWs.
Oh, who's debuting?
The Defy World Champion.
I thought Swerve won that.
He did. He just lost it.
To Nick Wayne?
Nick Wayne is 18 on July 10th. He'll be on the July 12th episode of Dynamite in Saskatoon, defending the Defy Championship.
10 to 1 with runners at second and third. Did Kim just hit a nut? Oh, Good God.
Yeah,
I had
this
a fu-
game has been ugly.
They're just all out there showing off for Seth Lugo is what they're doing.
had a funny thought. I was thinking during the Hall of Fame ceremony this year, if Vince McMahon, whenever he saw Muda, was like, "Who the hell's that, pal?"
That's what Flair said. The reason I read it today, not a word of lie. He said the reason I went on and on and on about myself and Steamboat was because nobody in the crowd would know who Muda was. Like, well, whose fault is that? Could it be
if you're a wrestling fan at a Hall of Fame ceremony and you don't know who Great Muda is, you can go fuck yourself. Yeah.
And then he got in trouble for saying
For
Sting.
mentioning Sting, who is in the Hall of Fame. It's like, you put him there.
You put him there and you can't even mention his name? Like, really? What do you have, his face
hilarious.
all sprayed out or something? Good God, man.
Just more of those Vinceism bullshit.
Bro, this game is getting ugly.
It is the top of the sixth. It is 10-1.
Oh, yeah, I was telling Matty when you were indisposed. We're getting a debut on Dynamite in July.
Okay.
Yeah. Nick Wayne.
Name doesn't ring a bell.
He might be one of the most impressive 17-year-old wrestlers I've ever seen in my life.
17?
Yeah. He turns 18 on July 10th. He's debuting on July 12th, and he just beat Swerve Strickland for the Defy Championship. And he's tag team the East West Express with Jordan Oliver, just beat the Motor City Machine Guns for the GCW tag titles.
I must look this young man up. You said, what's his name?
Nick Wayne.
Nick Wayne.
If you go to the YouTubes, type in Nick Wayne versus Will Ospreay, GCW. The match is utterly off the charts. Like,
he looks like he's been hanging out with Hook. It looks like they've got kind of a similar.
Yeah, he does got to put a little weight on, but he's only 17 too. But he's but he's the future. Like, they got a lot of people that age. Billy Stark's only 18. She was on Rampage Friday fighting Jade.
Cargill?
Yeah. And
Jade still hasn't lost, has she?
No, 55 and up. But Billy Starks, she's 18, and in the last 2022 and this year, she's wrestled almost 200 matches.
I interviewed Billy Starks. That was awesome.
She was just over in Tokyo Pro Joshi wrestling. And they went back to high school.
Oh.
Seriously.
Well, I mean, might as well finish what you start, but
weekend excursion halfway around the world.
It's almost like Clubfoot Strowbeard having to surrender the titles because his partner had to go back to school.
Well, the same but completely different. Yeah. Poor Braun, you get out on the indies after trashing the indies, and no one would hire him.
Well, I don't know how he still has a job. He can't wrestle worth a shit.
No.
He is one of the most club-footed motherfuckers I have ever had to sit through.
He's big, and he's an attraction, which is why he's over where he is, period.
Yeah, he's big, but okay, a lot of guys are big, and a lot of guys who are big ain't too damn good. Another guy, AEW, I'm trying to figure out if they're ever going to get shit right for him, is Jack Perry.
Jack's still learning as he's going. He's only 23, I think.
He is. It seems like they could be doing so much better with him.
Takes time. Can't build them overnight. Like this time last year, he was shit on the mic. Like he couldn't talk at all.
And also his tag team partner was a dinosaur, quite literally.
Yeah. So Jack Perry he just turned 25. So lots of time with him yet. You're not going to have him beat MJF, so he's not getting that yet.
Well, no, I'm not even that, but
build him up.
I mean, the fact that they have a belt on Orange Cassidy.
Orange is out there every week, putting on matches week after week after week after week. He's the most consistent guy with a belt in any promotion.
Well, I mean, he's
doing his thing, man. And the matches are all good. Unique gimmick. You're either into it or you're not. But
see, here's the thing: is I don't hate on the gimmick so much. If he just did the gimmick, I mean, his matches are not horrible, but he strikes me more as he would be better suited as a manager like a Jimmy Hart in Memphis than as an actual in-ring guy. But, you know.
Old is Orange is not a young kid either. Orange is 30, let's see.
Like if they used him more like they used Danhausen, I wouldn't mind it.
Orange is 38.
Yeah. It's like how they use Danhausen. You know, he has a match once in a while. You know, he's Danhausen. You know, I would rather them use Orange more like that rather than put one of their belts on him. But that's actually a guy I would love to get on this show is Danhausen. He cracks me up.
Yeah. And he came up with that himself. That's all him.
Yeah.
There was nobody come up with it for him. Nobody said, do this, put that on. It's all him.
Well, you watch his really early matches on the indies before that gimmick, and, you know, he didn't look that bad. Yeah, I mean, smaller guy, you know, he was having your basic kind of indie matches, you know, but then like with the Danhausen gimmick, I was like, okay, maybe this guy can't really wrestle all that much. But my God, is it such a great gimmick? Like I would love to have him on for something.
You can't have him on, like you don't want him to have matches every week because that'll expose him too much. And you don't want his character on all the time because it'll just get unfunny after a while.
You know, I mean, in a tag team with Hook or in a 6-man, you know, something like that, you know, that's fine. You know, you can cover up the ills there.
You'll probably see him more in Ring of Honor, which is where he was prior, like when it shut down. He's hurt at the moment, though.
Matty, I'm kind of curious what Danhausen charges to come on to podcasts.
Now, Cap, I will say you asked earlier how I felt about Bogarts in the Padres uniform.
Yeah.
I like these pinstripes a lot better than the pinstripes he could be wearing.
Okay, I understand. You're shedding far fewer tears in these pinstripes. Had he
had he gone the white and pinstripe route, I think I might have been crying.
Yeah, that.
Do the White Sox still wear pinstripes as like their home uniform?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then I have to say the white and blue pinstripes. Fuck's sake.
And we were the first to do it before the Yankees. So, but
I guess you're more versatile in the pinstripes, though, because you guys can win and lose like equally in both.
Yeah, and well, also we have 3 World Series. They have 27.
Yeah,
so that kind of it's like okay, yeah, McDonald's doesn't make the best hamburger, but they sell the most of them.
So what you're meaning to tell me is pinstripes equals championships. The Rockies, they're on their way, boys.
I wouldn't.
I'm still shocked that we made it to a World Series. I still can't fathom that one.
They just got hot, man. That run they made, they got hot.
Ubaldo Jimenez. That is what happened.
So,
Yeah, that would actually be fun for, I don't know, give Danhausen the human monies so he can appear on the human podcast. Very nice, very evil.
I would very much like to have Danhausen on the podcast. That would be awesome.
Oh, is that one? No, he's at the warning track.
but he
Oh,
has
they're
my
interviewing
vote because
Buster
my Twitter
Olney's
handle
interview.
has 1,000 in it, so I'm game.
Yeah, Buster Olney's interviewing Nelly Cruz in the dugout right now.
Well, Nelly Cruz has been having a fucking game.
He's kind of got that Big Poppy facial hair going.
It really does.
That's how. Look, he's trying to get into the Hall of Fame. Copy. If I look like him, maybe they'll vote me in.
Well, me and Cap were saying, I think if he hits 500 home runs, he's in the Hall of Fame.
He gets to 500. I'll give him the vote.
Is it 5 or 600 that he's almost at?
5. He's at 461 after tonight.
Yeah.
He came in at 460. So if he gets to 5, I'll give him the nod.
If he gets to 500, I think he's getting in the Hall of Fame.
I was trying to since you said that about Xander, I'm trying to think all-time Red Sox players in your life. If you had seen them go to the Bronx, the level of tears you would have cried. Obviously, if Poppy had gone to the
Cap.
Yeah,
I already had to see Euclid, Ellsbury, and Damon wearing the fucking pinstripes. I don't want to think about fucking Ortiz, okay?
I had to endure Wade Boggs.
Oh,
God, that's right. On a horse, no less. That was the most Boggs thing ever for him to just jump on that horse. He probably only had 2 cases in him that night.
But we also did some things from them. I think we took Kurt Schilling from them and ended up winning a World Series with them.
No, Schilling wasn't with the Yankees. He was with the Diamondbacks before you guys got him.
I could have swore Schilling was a Yankee at one point.
No, he was a
Orioles, Philly. Well, Phillies was after Boston. He was with the Diamondbacks the year before you guys got him. Him and Randy Johnson won that World Series for Arizona.
2 other guys would have absolutely killed me. This before Matty's time, but Jim Rice and Dwight Evans.
Dwight Evans, yes. Had Evans, yeah.
Kurt Schilling, Baltimore, Houston, Philly, Arizona, and then Boston.
And then back to Philly again. Didn't he go?
Nope. And then
I
after
thought he
Boston,
had another.
No, after Boston, the place he went was completely off the fucking rails.
I could have swore he was on that. That he was on that Phillies. Or am I thinking of? For some reason, I thought he
ended up going to the Phillies.
Yeah, and he was an absolute locker room cancer.
Was it? Yeah, Clemens. It was Clemens that was the Yankee.
Yeah, he was a Red Sox. He was at the Blue Jays and then Boston,
Houston as well.
Houston. He had 2 runs with Houston, or was it just 1 run? He had 2 runs with the Yankees, I don't know. He would kind of ping pong back between New York and Houston. There, I can't remember the exact.
Roger made a lot of stops.
Yeah.
Yankees, Boston, doctor's office, Houston, Toronto.
I think weren't he and Barry Bonds traveling mates on the territorial run there?
They shared the same luggage, yeah.
I think they shared the same doctor.
That's fucking great.
An awfully big carry-on bag you have, Mr. Clemens.
Shaving 3 times a day. I remember watching a workout video of him when he was like 42 or 43, and I was just like, mother. And it was just like, granted, I was still a very young, fan at this was like very early 2000s. I wasn't as educated as I am now on, what those types of substances do. But looking back now, I was like, shit, no wonder he had roid rage and was just, a growly sumbitch. He was cranked up on enough HGH and whatever else.
Well, look how cranky Palmero got in the courtroom that day.
Yeah, Rafi.
Yeah. I have never taken steroids. Says you have.
Well, thank God Sosa didn't speak English, so his lawyer just spoke for him. We didn't have to listen to that. But he and McGuire came off really bad.
Hey, I think this year's the show is the first time Sosa's been in it in years.
Granted, what they did and when they did it, I think it was coming out of the strike, wasn't it?
The strike was 94. Well, McGuire was on the juice back in the late 80s when he was with the A's the Bash brothers, him and
well, I mean the home run race to 70 or whatever it was.
That was 98.
Yeah. So that would have been coming out of the strike.
Yeah,
just not long after the strike year. But baseball needed
that was yeah. Well, that was 98. Then Cal Ripken breaking Lou Gehrig's record. What was that, 96 or 97?
Yeah. So they had 2 feel-good moments. One was legitimate, the other not so much. But
Cal Ripken Jr. was a great shortstop who was a pretty good hitter.
Pretty good.
I mean, he was a pretty good hitter, but he wasn't he was just, to me, like, his defense always outweighed his bat. He was a good hitter, but he was so invaluable as a defenseman.
Oh yeah, he was one hell of a fucking defender, but I was about to say his bat was pretty damn good too.
But his streak overshadowed, or not so much overshadowed, but made him out to be better than what he was.
Yeah, I mean,
like he was,
and we're not saying he sucked, but he was a great baseball player. But the streak, like you said,
like his
heavy
career,
lieth the crown.
Like his career, he was a 276 batting average. He had OPS of 788. So he was really, really good.
But he wasn't phenomenal.
No, but that streak,
showed longevity.
It put a different spin on what he actually was as a player.
I mean, I remember when I actually started collecting baseball memorabilia, he was one of the first pieces that I bought. I love Cal. Yeah, my brother named his 2 sons after baseball players, Bryce Harper and Chipper Jones. Another buddy of mine named his firstborn son after Cal Ripken. And I've always said, if ever I have a child, knock on wood that I don't, I'm going to name him Tyrus after Ty Cobb. Tyrus Roy, to be honest, or to be exact. Giving him my grandfather's middle name. Oh, did that one go?
I might be a couple seconds behind you.
Also, Cal was one of the few that stayed with the same team his entire career. Not many.
Yep. I don't think. I wonder if we're ever going to.
Did you guys see that Ken Griffey Jr. is still getting paid by the Reds?
Yeah.
Yeah, you told me that whenever you were down here.
And one of the higher paid players on the roster. If he was on Oakland, he would probably be the highest paid player.
Easy.
Gotta love some Bobby Bonilla.
Yeah, I think he's still getting paid too.
Yep, Bonilla and Griffey are still getting paid. Well, now, the 98 season, if I remember correctly, McGuire was on androstenedione, which at that point was not a banned substance by MLB. I mean, I know we're splitting hairs a little bit here, but you mentioned feel good moment, one legit, one not. If I remember correctly, what he was on that year was not a banned substance yet. So and it's, I don't know, the whole steroid. I mean, they're going to be talking about the steroid era 50 years from now, and what records hold up, what's legitimate, I mean, freaking Maris, his record wasn't legit at the time. He wasn't on roids. It was just because the commissioner said any record broken after 142 games isn't going to count, or we'll have an asterisk next to it, because he was, I guess, Babe Ruth's widow had her hands around his balls or something. I don't know.
Then put the season back to 142 games. Problem solved.
I was about to say, Oracle's got a plan in place.
Well, I think they definitely need to reduce the number of games, because
people get hurt.
Yeah,
well, by the time you get to, I mean, yeah, baseball has its biggest, popularity up until July, and then once August started, NFL preseason and camp starts, and then NFL starts the first week of September. It just gets buried.
Yeah. Up here, we got the hockey, because snow and stuff. Igloo.
10 runs on 13 hits.
But yeah, once September rolls around up here, it's the same thing, right? Training camps open, so there's all of a sudden more of a focus on that as to what's been going on all year.
I mean, here in the States, I mean, it's almost as if baseball disappears once training camp and preseason starts.
Yeah, I was about to say, right after the draft, it's kind of, okay, it's baseball. Basketball's finishing up right now.
NHL playoffs, that all, kind of happens there. And then.
And even the NHL goes way too long.
Yeah, isn't NHL 82 games?
82 games, starts in October, but by the time your playoffs finish, it's the end of June.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's a 2-month layoff. That's your draft, free agents, then training camp start in September. Like, there's no downtime, really.
And it's as physical a sport as the NFL, which is only now at like 20 games a season.
18.
No,
17 games.
I know it's 17, but like with like playoffs, if you go all the way, I think it's like 20 games.
Hockey's not as physical as it used to be. They frowned on that in the last while.
Well, speaking of hockey, I mean, I haven't watched hockey seriously in probably 20 years, but apparently this Boston team is apparently like an all-time team.
It's ridiculous, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
As of last night, I don't know, they surpassed that today. Let's see. They're at 62 wins, which tied the record all time for a regular season.
So if they get one more win, they're
the winningest team ever. Yep, they won 5-3.
Yeah, so there's 63 wins.
So how many games do they have left? So 63, 12.
So 12. That's 75.
Yeah, so they have like 7, 8 games left.
So 63, 12, and 5.
63, 12.
So they've got 2 games left.
Okay, yeah.
That was really bad math.
Bad math.
Bad math. So they can finish with 65. Now, the team they beat did it in less games. I believe it was Montreal.
Oh. Looks like the Avalanche are up 1-0 over the Anaheim Mighty Ducks.
Let's go.
Emilio Estevez coaching.
Let's go, Avs.
Yeah, I haven't really been a hockey fan since the Dallas Stars had their little run there in the late 90s, early 2000s.
Well, they have tried down in your neck of the woods twice in Atlanta. Didn't take. I know that's up and to the right a little bit.
Actually, that's for me. That's east and then a little dip south.
Oh, okay.
I'm in Arkansas, but the upper northwest corner of Arkansas. So it'd be like a straight shot down and then a little dip.
But yeah, they tried them in the late 70s, early 80s, and that didn't work. So they moved to Calgary. Then they tried it again, and then they moved to Winnipeg.
So since we're on the topic of hockey and the Bruins, and you're kind of an old hand at this, what can you tell us about infamous Maple Leafs owner Harold Ballard?
I prefer vintage over old. Harold was a case and a half. He ran that into the fucking ground.
Maple Leaf Gardens, a lot of money there.
fighting with his best players. Like Daryl's. This would have been back late 70s, early 80s.
Sittler, yeah.
But he ran Sittler out. He ran McDonald out. He ran Palmatier out. He
burned the gondola.
Yeah, burned to the ground, man.
Remember the whole thing with the uniforms. He didn't want to put names on the uniforms, so he just put them on there, but in the same color, so you couldn't see. Yeah, he still wanted that program revenue.
Yeah, he was nuts. And his buddy Punch Imlach was no better. He was just as insane as he was. So late 70s, they had a decent team. Like they were contending like the outside rim of it. And then they just dismantled it come the 80s. Like it was embarrassing to watch.
I was thinking of the the team in the 80s that just ran roughshod, the Oilers.
Edmonton, yeah.
Yeah, Edmonton Oilers.
They had more done that team that you shake the stick at.
And they have done fuck all since.
Well, they got the best player in the game right now, Connor McDavid.
Yeah. They also had Draisaitl too. Is he still there?
Yep.
Well, there's two good ones.
Yeah. There's not much well, a lot of the residual points you're getting is from those two. Like they wouldn't be putting up the points they are on other teams, but
God, Draisaitl though, or McDavid, he's been with them almost a decade now.
6 years, I believe.
Okay, I thought it was a little longer than that.
But McDavid is the best I've seen since probably the Gretzky Lemieux era.
Well, now, so with Harold Ballard and his crew, his cronies, doing what they did to Toronto, what's your thoughts on what happened to the Red Wings? Because they were the penultimate franchise for a good while, the Empire, and then they just sort of
Detroit always had the solid team, but they weren't building. Like, remember you were talking about the Braves before?
Yeah.
They always got people coming up to take spots. Detroit kind of did not do that. So they had guys like Pavel Datsyuk basically retired. He went back overseas. Lidstrom was starting to get a little long in the tooth. So was Yzerman. Fedorov was getting banged up. So they weren't bringing in guys to replace these. So they finally just said, let's just tear her down, start fresh, which is what they did. Ken Holland went off to Edmonton. I think Yzerman went to management in Tampa. So
now the guy who owned the Red Wings also owned the Tigers.
Yeah. Holland would have been the GM, but you're thinking of Mike Ilitch.
Mike Ilitch, yeah. He threw so much money at the Tigers, and they just kept getting a little bit closer every year, but they were snake bit.
Yeah. And Tigers had the team. I remember This would have been early. I think it was 85. I think they went like 40-5 out of the gate or something like that. It was some crazy stars.
Yeah.
I remember 87. I remember the year they knocked the Blue Jays out. The Blue Jays had like a 7-game lead. They lost all 7 games.
Jeez.
Back then it was the 2 divisions. So if you didn't win the division, you weren't in. That was it.
I think that the Mets last year was one of the all-time worst collapses I think I've ever seen in my lifetime since I've been watching the game consistently, more or less for 25 years now. That the way the Mets collapsed last year was just. And I remember I kept saying to my brother, all during the summer, is like, I don't know how they're going to do it, but the Mets are going to fuck this up. They're going to Met, and
cursed.
It was just
cursed. That's
They're
it.
Fucking cursed.
I mean, they were in first place for something like 106 days.
They're cursed that badly that their curse has filtered over to Philadelphia.
The prevailing winds have.
It just it caught. It's like what's
that breeze off the Atlantic has just blown it inward.
It blew it over to Philly, man, and they're done too. They're not going to do anything. I think Atlanta will run away with that division this year.
Well, I mean, we'll see what happens with.
He's not there yet. The National.
Well, I said this is going to be the year the Mets are going to do it, just so that the baseball gods can stick their thumb up my ass, because they know I despise Max Scherzer and Justin Verlander more than any players in baseball.
But didn't you just say they're hurt?
Yeah, they're hurt, but the baseball gods are going to do this. They're going to bounce back, and they're going to win a World Series with those 2 schmucks, and I'm going to have to suffer through it. And I've been wanting those guys gone forever.
And why are they hurt? Because
they're old?
No, because they're cursed.
Because they're cursed.
Oh, Braves making a comeback. Only 8 more runs.
They waited a little long, didn't they?
Well,
late.
Well, it builds suspense. See.
Look at that old dude. Looks like Burgess Meredith from Grumpy Old Men. Well, you can wish in one hand and crap in the other and see which fills first. What's the matter with you, baby? You're meaner than a dog shitting tacks.
Oh, we have good news.
Oh?
Yes.
Vincent Mann died.
No, not yet. The cleaner has jumped up into a tie for third with the Acuna Matata.
That's my brother, yeah.
Acuna Matata, which means that Cap is solid at second.
Pulling up the standings here. I am in second. Yep. So we got a tie for third. I'm in second. The Rat Bastards and the Fittville Farm Leaguers. And Matty, no change for Matty. Jenny's still 5th, and Devin is 6th. I'm actually trying to see. Matty, your team's kind of odd right now. You're right behind me in average and OPS and ahead of me in strikeout rate, but you are almost dead last in runs and RBIs, which is weird. And you're pitching.
Some guys are getting on base, but they're not fucking scoring.
Let's see.
You know what your team needs? Your team needs to listen to the George Carlin skit, Baseball and Football, because the object in baseball is to go home.
Baseball is played in a park, the baseball park. Football is played on a gridiron. Baseball is played on a field. Football is played in a stadium. War Memorial Stadium. Soldier Field.
I'm thinking Matty has never seen this.
I have seen it.
Oh, yeah.
In baseball, you make an error. In football, you get a penalty. Baseball is about ups. Who's up? Are you up? I'm not up. Football's about downs. What down is it? Baseball has a 7th inning stretch. Football has a 2-minute warning. Oh, God bless Carlin. I actually did my it was my sophomore year of college. I did my final thesis in lit on George Carlin, and it was the only paper in that class that year I got an A on, because the professor was he was a tough grader, but he was a fair grader. But yeah, that was the only paper I got an A on that year, was my paper on Carlin. I've still got it in my safe. One of the 2 papers I saved from college. The other was a magnum opus I had to do over the course of a weekend, because like coming in, like it was like the last paper of the year, and I had like either a high D or a low C, and I went up finishing with a B, so I know I got an A on that thing. But I literally spent almost an entire weekend straight. I locked myself in a bedroom with my laptop, coffee pot, and I just bulldozed that bitch. What is Domingo Tapioca?
And now it's in your safe, so you have a place for your stuff.
Yeah. Yes. That's why I always got to keep getting a bigger place, because you keep getting more stuff. Bigger place. we gotta get more stuff. Well, we got to get a bigger place.
Matty is in that situation currently.
Yeah, I was about to say it's going to be a good change, I think.
So it's just me, you and Alora, just like your own little love nest.
Yep.
There you go.
Studio apartment.
And the second half of all that stuff, traveling to Hawaii, and maybe we'll go over see my cousin on the other side of the island. By the time you get, hey, we might go to the over here for the night. It's like, now what do you bring?
Bro, if I ever go to Hawaii, I'm only wearing that Hawaiian shirt I have.
Yeah, I showed Matty I showed him several Carlin videos, but I showed him the one about how to balance the budget. You set up 4 states as one's a lunatic asylum, one's for drug addicts and alcoholics, and others for bare knuckle fighters, and the other is for just insane lunatics. Yeah, you set up Colorado for the drug addicts and alcoholics, turn the Coors Brewery over to them. This is the real Rocky Mountain High.
You just build a big wall around it and charge it on paper.
Yeah, little sliding gates in the fences. Some of the more alphas are going to get out and mate and procreate. Everyone will have guns, everyone will have drugs, and no one will be in charge. Just like now, but at least we'll have a balanced budget. Oh God, so many good bits of his. The Hippy Dippy Weatherman. I think Matty would enjoy that one. It was one of his really, really early. I think it was actually his first album. Actually, Al Sleet, the Hippy Dippy Weatherman, who was your local 1960s or late 60s, early 70s typical weatherman, but he was stoned to the bejesus on weed and shrooms. The weather forecast for tonight: dark. Continued dark tonight, turning into widely scattered light in the morning. The temperature of the airport is, well, I don't know anybody who lives at the airport. Then he gave the ultimate forecast and was never seen again. He said, the weather is going to change off and on for a long time, man. And Al was gone.
The one he did on the homelessness, too.
Oh, yeah.
Golf courses.
Yeah, turn the golf courses over to the homeless. And he also said something about, why are we saving all the dead people? Let's plow these motherfuckers up, plow them into the rivers and streams of America. We need that phosphorus for farming. If we're going to recycle, let's get serious. Flying on the airline, that's another classic.
That is my son's favorite one. He still listens to that. I showed him that about a decade ago when he was 10.
Put your seats and tray tables into their original upright position. Well, who's going to return this guy in the Grateful Dead t-shirt and the fuck you hat to his original upright position? He's only had about 17 of the little liquor bottles.
Please put your seat back forward.
If I could put my seat back forward, I'd be in pornos. Get on the plane, get on the plane. I say, fuck you, I'm getting in the plane. Let Evel Knievel get on the plane.
In the unlikely event of a water landing.
Sounds to me like crashing into the ocean.
So the Braves did get another point that last inning.
Like, carry on, carry on. There's going to be a party. People are going to be carrying on the plane. And who made this man a captain? Did I miss some kind of military swearing-in ceremony? He's a fucking pilot, and let him be happy with that. Cockpit. Which is kind of one of those words why you wonder why they're so upset by it, especially with all those stewardesses going in and out of it all the time. In the event of a sudden loss of cabin pressure, roof flies off. An oxygen mask will drop down in front of you. Please put your mask on first before assisting others. Little rubber band in the back, that's all it is. Your seat cushion can be used as a flotation device. Just what I want. To float around the North Atlantic for a few days, clinging to a pillow full of beer farts. Oh, shit. God bless you, George. We miss you.
Please place the small metal flap inside.
Buckle.
High-tech shit. Please continue on with the wonderful safety lecture.
Welcome to O'Hare International Airport, where the local temperature is 39 degrees. Here she is coming on like the fucking mayor's wife. Please enjoy your stay in Chicago or wherever your final destination might be. Final destination? That sounds a little scary. How would they know? Oh. Yeah, I remember about the first Persian Gulf War. He said, all you need to know to figure that war out is look at the two men who were in charge of it, Dick Cheney and Colin Powell. Somebody got fucked in the ass. And then 10 years later, they're back doing it again. Same two guys, different president, but still a Bush. Yeah, literally, first Bush, Cheney, Powell, war. Second Bush, Cheney, Powell, war. Am I detecting a pattern here? So this game...
Funny,
go ahead, Dave.
But accurate at the same time.
He's like, who are the? Can you name the last white people we ever bombed? The Germans, and that was only because they were trying to cut in on our action. Bullshit! That's our fucking job to rule the world.
All right, the Braves comeback is underway next inning. Matt Olson.
Also liked his. Yeah.
Matt Olson
will
in his next episode.
He's going to bat around.
Yes.
Also, his whole thing on how shell shock became post-traumatic stress disorder.
Oh my
from
God.
World War One. Yeah, which the tie-in line of that, had they still called it shell shock, some of those guys from Vietnam might have gotten the care they actually needed. We added so many hyphens and syllables that we just completely removed all the humanity and horror out of the condition.
And they still do that today. Like the job I have started out with 2 words, right? Over the course of 23 years doing it, it now has about 6. The same job. Like, just stop adding things to it to make it sound what I'm doing is more important than what it actually is. It's not.
We also, there was some others, like, we got rid of all these old people and brought in these senior citizens. Nobody's a cripple anymore. They're handicapped.
Handy capable. I'm
No one's stupid. They have a learning disorder.
I'm 97 years young.
Bullshit, I'm fucking old. And that's okay, because I won't have to die. I'll pass away.
I'll expire like a magazine
subscription. George Carlin, Richard Pryor, Lenny Bruce, Dave Chappelle. That's my Mount Rushmore.
You know who else is really good? Craig Ferguson.
I've liked him in small doses. He never quite did it for me that much. Bill Hicks was really good, but didn't quite have the longevity. Eddie Murphy I liked more as an actor than as a stand-up. I mean, his stand-up was really good. As what stand-up was great, but I've always seen him more as a comedy actor than a stand-up comedian.
Well, he stopped doing stand-up so long ago.
Well, yeah.
80s.
Matty and I actually watched Delirious while he was down here and just cracked up like it's the first time ever seeing it. We're talking about your boy Matty, Eddie Murphy.
Oh, dude, Eddie Murphy. The Delirious and Raw stand-ups are 2 of my favorite stand-ups all time.
Murphy had impeccable timing and delivery, and that was what I've always liked about anything he's ever done. Actually, I exposed Matty to some Red Fox while he was down here.
That shit was hilarious.
Ooh.
Not Sanford and Son, the real, the good Red Fox stand-up stuff.
I read this, but
he was actually the first comedian to have an album with the parental advisory sticker on it.
As well, it should have.
Yes, I believe the title is the album "You Gots to Wash Your Ass." and
you are now looking at the proud owner of 3rd place all by himself.
The cleaner has moved into 3rd, and he's right on. You're a half point behind me. If I finish at this point, I have to at least finish ahead of Dave, because if I finish behind Twinkle Toes McFingerbang,
I'll change my name to a Kenny Omega-ism every week, just to throw you off.
Oh God. This is going to be a horrible season. My White Sox suck. Kenny Omega's kicking my ass. Our pets' heads are falling off.
So every time you look at the standings, you go, another one. The one-winged angel beating me now.
I lost to the one-winged angel.
Yeah, the V-trigger really laid it into me this week.
V-trigger took me out.
You know who another comedian is, and it's just due to his uniqueness of the whole thing. Stephen Wright. I've never
I've seen a little bit. I've seen a little bit of his. I'm not all that familiar with him.
Very, very dry. About as dry as you can be.
There's a Canadian comedian that I really like right now, K. Trevor Wilson. He really cracked. I found him through watching Letterkenny, but I found out he's actually a stand-up comedian as well, and he's got some great bits.
Well, we're funny up here. That's what we do.
Well, I will always Canada. I cannot hate my neighbors to the north because you gave us Neil Young, you gave us John Candy, and I'm blanking on the other one. One of my all-time favorites.
We gave you two things in over 200 years. That's it.
Well, Canadian whiskey. I do like me some Crown Royal.
Well, things that I'm talking like treasures of the human race. You know,
Crown Royal is a treasure to the human race. What the fuck are you talking about?
We gave you Rush.
Not a big Rush fan. Not knocking. They're a great band. They're just not my style. They're not my style. But
you guys gave us Bret Hart.
Yes, that was another. You gave us Bret Hart. So Bret Hart, Neil Young, and John Candy. I will always love Canada for that.
You know who else we gave you?
Oh, shut the fuck up. He can be that player to be named later. I'll send him back. Like that catcher for the 64 Mets that was traded for himself. You can have Kenny back.
So, what are the odds that the Braves?
Well, I was going to say Chris Jericho. Are you obsessed with Kenny Omega? Like he's on your mind all the time. Like, do you have some?
He's just like when I look at pro wrestling and I think about everything that's wrong with it, from what's in the ring. Like, yes, you know, Vince McMahon, Kevin Dunn, Jim Herd, John Laurinaitis. Those are the schmucks in the office. Then you've got your guys in the ring who just ruin it for me. Kenny, the Bucks, you know, the Miz. Although I'm more his gimmick, but he has a steady hand in the ring. But it's just like, fucking, how did this guy manage to get over and be allowed to do the shit that he's done?
I just noticed something. I'm going to see if Matty notices this too. Look over at Captain for a second. Right?
Okay.
Hey,
All right.
Now put a pair of glasses on Kenny Omega. They got the same, yeah, man. They got the same hairstyle and everything.
I can never use a broom in my home again without having nightmares. Well, no, he wasn't from. I was saying Jackie Robinson. He played his minor league ball in Toronto before the Brooklyn Dodgers called him up. Yeah, Toronto used to be the Dodgers minor league team. Yeah, Chris Jericho, love him. Not so much AEW Chris Jericho. He's kind of devolved into a bit of a twit, but
we gave you Owen Hart.
Nelson Cruz, third oldest player with 6 RBIs in a single game, tied with Pudge Fisk and Barry Bonds. That's some company. I'm trying to think more things from Canada. It's like that scene in Airplane. Would you like something to read? Do you have anything light? How about this leaflet? Famous Jewish sports legends.
Jackie Robinson actually played in Montreal in 1946.
That was Toronto.
Nope.
So Montreal was a minor league organization for some reason I thought it was Toronto.
Nope.
Nelson Cruz, second oldest person. Was that second oldest person to ever hit a home run? They took it off the screen before I could. Oh, that was a little uncalled for.
Did he get hit?
I think it was a breaking pitch that got away from him. It didn't look like a fastball, but yeah, he caught one in the ankle. Yeah, that was just a pitch in the dirt that got him. Not like what's his name, Jose Arena, that threw right at Acuna Jr.'s head a few years ago. Prick. It's one thing to you lose control of a breaking pitch, okay, or if you just really want to get a guy, beat him in the ass or in the ribs or something like that. But guys who purposefully throw heaters right at dude's head, that pisses me off.
Or
that's
aiming
ridiculous.
to the knees.
No, you don't throw at the head. If you purposely want to throw at someone, fine. You got a big torso to do it. You can't miss it.
Yeah, I mean, hit him in the ass, hit him in the ribs, something like that. But if I was an umpire and I saw a guy just throw straight at someone's head, he's gone, whether he connected or not. Like, dude, you're fucking out.
Yeah, instantly, you're out.
There's no point in that.
You get hit with a 95-mile-an-hour fastball in the ribs, you got the message.
Yeah. Don't do that again. Whatever it was,
I should probably not do that like twice.
Yeah.
Right.
But then
unless you avoid the pain in your ribs, then by all means, have at it. What do we got here? Nobody on.
Nobody on.
2 outs. So Atlanta needs 8 runs to tie this thing up.
Yeah.
Matty, so do you have to work tomorrow as well, Matty?
Yeah, I got to work tomorrow and move afterwards. That
is an absolute shit long day. And then after
we're not moving everything, but getting some stuff in.
And then on the back end of all that, you have the utter disappointment of Raw.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Hey, on the upside, that'll put me to sleep before I go to work tomorrow or the day after.
Well, this is quite possible. Yeah,
that's like a combo prostate exam and colonoscopy in the same day.
Yeah. Hey, at least, Monday seems to be the busiest day. I walked in the other day and there was like 80 cars on the lot that needed to be cleaned.
Yeah, Mondays and Fridays are the 2 worst days.
Well, that's weird because recently Fridays have been like the slower days for me. I don't know.
For me, Mondays and Fridays are my worst days. Wednesday's the slowest. Tuesday and Thursday, you never really know. Those are wild cards, but you can just count on Monday and Friday being pure misery.
Commercial break in progress for me. What do you guys got?
I got a commercial too. I'm looking at our
I have a Canadian Tire commercial.
Ooh, what's your guys' Canadian Tire brands?
It's like
y'all got Goodyear out there?
It's like a big giant hardware store that also sells tires.
Like a Pet Boys, like a Meineke,
something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Here in the U.S., it's Michelin, Firestone. I think those are still the 2 big ones here.
I think Goodyear is still a company.
Yeah, Goodyear, Michelin, Firestone.
They're like Tim Hortons. They sell tires, but they sell like a whole bunch of other stuff too. Tim Hortons sells coffee, and they sell a bunch of other stuff too.
What else?
Well, but I've heard Tim Hortons coffee is pretty good, so at least they have that.
What else does Tim Hortons sell?
It's like a gas station, more or less, isn't it?
What, Tim Hortons? No, we sell donuts and sandwiches and soup and.
Y'all sell soup in Tim Hortons?
Oh yeah. You can buy Tim Hortons soup in the cans up here in the grocery stores.
Y'all sell burgers and shit at Tim Hortons, or
no burgers? No.
Can I get fries at Tim Hortons? Can I get poutine at Tim Hortons?
You cannot get
poutine.
Fries. No.
Which I've never had like strict poutine. I've had like Baltimore style where they just put gravy on fries, which is pretty good. But I've never had like your classic Canadian poutine.
Yeah, it's gravy and cheese curds, isn't it?
Yeah,
I think so.
or you can use mozzarella cheese too if you don't like curds.
Oh, okay. I like curds.
Curds are good.
Do you like poutine, Dave?
Loves poutine.
What is the national dish of Canada? Is it poutine or is
That would be one of them. Yeah, we have different
Okay.
variations on it. Sometimes we can get donair poutine.
What the hell
So
is
that's French fries, donair meat, gravy, and then the mozzarella cheese over top of it.
What's donair meat?
It's like seasoned hamburger.
Oh, okay.
Ah,
Yeah, and they season it on like a spick that kind of spins around like that.
saying like
That's strikeout
poutine,
number one.
smoked meats.
Yeah, the Montreal smoked meats. It's another one.
Yeah. I was thinking of John Candy, The Great Outdoors, whenever he goes to eat that Paul Bunyan steak.
Do they do what's it called? Like white gravy poutine out there?
I think it's brown, isn't it?
Brown.
Well, I
Brown.
know they do brown, but do they do like a white peppered gravy poutine up there? No.
Well, you could. Yeah, you would have to tell them, but generally it's brown.
Okay.
Ah.
And is that like just a basic gravy? Or are we talking like a beef gravy or?
Yeah, brown is a beef.
It can be a
Gravy.
pork gravy.
Usually,
Yeah, true. I'm trying to think what else. Fish and chips is pretty big up in Canada, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, especially where I'm at because I'm right on the coast.
Oh, what
Ah.
about lobster rolls? You get them those allowed out there, Dave?
Yep. Oh, there's lobster where I'm at. There's lobster fisheries all over the place. Lobster, crab.
And Olson is out.
One more out, and the Padres make our first Sunday night baseball game very.
One
Yeah,
side.
this was this wasn't a game so much as it was an execution.
And
Well, they
strike
could come
one.
back.
I mean, technically in baseball, until that 27th out, you can keep going.
That would be one of the most insane things ever if these
Well,
Braves came back.
Dude, that game a couple years ago with the Mets and the Nationals, where the Mets blew a six run lead in the ninth, 6 or 7 run lead in the ninth.
Strike two.
Well, all it takes is 3 walks, a home run, then 3 walks and a home run. And they're right back.
It's simple math.
Yeah.
Load the bases, hit a home run, load them again, hit another one.
Yeah, like it's not complicated. I don't know why they can't get this right.
And I think that is
And
going
that
to
is
do
ball
it.
game.
Look, Cruz barely get over the step. He's out there going 3 for 4.
Well, Cap, I'll give the outro to you for this game.
That was our first Sunday night baseball. Wish it would have been a bit more competitive, but it was nice to shoot the shit with our cleanup hitter on a variety of topics, as typically our conversations dilute in or delve into.
You do tend
I
to
found
wander.
I found out that he thinks I look like a certain someone, which I may have to have some facial reconstructive surgery at some point.
Cap will be on tomorrow bald.
It's taken me 14, 15 months to grow this out. See, tomorrow, RAWBall podcast, provided everything. Matty, are we still for sure?
We'll put a question mark on that. I'm not too sure. I'll talk with you more about that leading into tomorrow.
Yeah, if you need to, the data to move, it's not going to be too big of a deal. Nothing really going on tomorrow that I'm aware of. So if you need a day to kind of get squared
the Aaron
away,
Rodgers deal finally fucking goes through, we have nothing really to talk about.
Please don't give the Jets ideas. They could ruin your day.
I was about to say I might be recording from my phone if that happens.
At that point, I'm just going to be watching Grossi.
Shoot him a message, be like, "Hey, Tom."
Anyway,
yeah, we gave you Degrassi too.
Yeah. And we got, I think the next big event coming up for us is going to be the NFL draft. Grossi's going to be on.
I will definitely have internet in the house by that point in time. So
he'll be on that Monday, and then Thursday night we have coverage of the first round.
Why am I there? I'm not in the draft until the third round.
My Raiders actually have, I think, 14 total picks, 13 or 14 total picks.
A really good first round pick, don't you?
Yeah. Then we got Backlash coming up May the 6th. God only knows what WWE is going to look like in the next month with all the hoo-ha going on there. Then the end of May, we got, that next week we got St. Louis and Boston, big series between the brothers-law. See if they can keep from killing each other during that weekend. Dave, you got anything going on anywhere you're appearing you want to plug while you're on here?
This would be my only appearances to date.
Well,
hey, get your face out there more, Dave. You're a damn big brain.
You're a cleanup man. When all three of us can't do it, it's up to you.
My problem is I just say things that certain groups of people don't like.
I think what's it old saying? If you try to please everybody, you'll wind up pleasing no one.
Yeah. Well, I don't try to please anybody. Like, this is it.
All right. Well, that has been the Sunday Night Baseball edition. The first Sunday Night Baseball edition of the RAWBall podcast. Thank everyone for joining us. Matty, I'll let you close us out.
All right. This is the point in the show. I remind you guys to stay safe, stay healthy, and stay hydrated. Remember to ball out with the RAWBall podcast. I'm going to at least try to get a Monday parlay up on Twitter if all else fails.
You have hit your last, 2 or 3 Matty Mondays?
I didn't hit this last week, but here's hoping that I can hit this week. So, yeah, let's have a wonderful week, everybody. Kick it in the fucking teeth, and we'll see you when we see you.
See you all next time.